ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of The Closing Argument. Today is Tuesday. That's May 27th, 2025. Great things happening in the country. We got some great headlines for you. Let's begin with the top headlines, then we'll go to other things. President Joseph Boakai travels to Lagos, Nigeria for the 50th anniversary of ECOWAS in his private jet. Yes, RIA. Following months of diplomatic engagement, Liberia climaxes. United Nations Security Council seat campaign today in New York is done. It's closed. Now we have made our closing argument to the United Nations, to our partners. It's time to bring it home. The United States government donates over 150,000 US dollars in advanced endoscopic equipment to the 14 military hospital to enable the hospital to diagnose and treat serious conditions, including cancer. Bomi County Senator Snow expresses fear for his life and that of his family following government accusation against him, calls on the Liberian Senate to ensure security protection for his family. Before we delve into the dailies, let me give you the weather. I am in beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Florida here. And in the beautiful city of Fort Pierce, it's 86 degrees, mostly cloudy, high 89 and low 75. Let's go down south to Miami, 88 degrees, cloudy as well. Let's go to New York, 71 degrees and also cloudy. Now we go to the nation's capital, Monrovia. It's 82 degrees and cloudy. And in my hometown, Buchanan, 81 degrees, it's cloudy. Humidity is 85%. It is hot. And the wind is blowing at 4 miles an hour. So Buchanan has a lot of heat and humidity, but for some reason, the breeze is blowing right out of the Atlantic Ocean, and that's great. That is your weather for today. So if you are in the Monrovia area, dress and go out accordingly. We got some great things to talk about. We're talking about Senator Duncan from Sino County. He defends and says, if everybody else is getting wealthy in our own country, why not us? What says they? Are Liberian officials finally catching up? Should they invest? Should they also tap into the resources of the country? Would this help us? Maybe he's up to something here. Instead of stealing the money from Liberia or siphoning the money and taking to a different country in fear that they would think you stole the money, he is saying, let us invest in our own country. Let us be transparent. And if we make any profit from the mine, from whatever it is we're doing, let's invest it in our country. So let's talk about that. Is Mr. Duncan up to something here? Should we hide our money? Because people in Liberia will say it's stolen money. Or should we tell everybody that we are using our pay to invest? We should pay taxes on what we extract from the country and then use our wealth in our nation to develop the country. As individuals, should we do that? Those are some of the things that we are talking about here. And let's talk about the NTA in Liberia. The deputy, Mr. Noah Gibson, has been summoned by the court for interference in an eviction case. Mr. Noah Gibson at the NTA left his job and defies the court. Eviction notices. Is this what power does? I think it was Barack Obama that says, if you want to know the character of a man or woman, give them power. This is Noah Gibson, of all things, interfering with the court system in Liberia. That's Noah Gibson. Noah Gibson, who was once a champion of advocacy using the courts today is obstructing the court, interfering. This is what power does. I think it's the old saying, power corrupts absolutely at times. Those who were advocates for the poor, for the rule of law, for justice, today are interfering in the process of justice in Liberia. Today's advocate most likely may be today or tomorrow tyrant. I am Jerome Gaiman, sitting in for the chief. He will join me later on. But this is the state of affairs of Liberia. Joseph Boyka left Liberia today. An attempt to leave the country clandestinely. But yes, we have photographs. We have spokespeople that saw the private jet take off. This is the Liberia. Private jet under the previous government were frowned upon, literally a crime. And today, they are justifying the travel on private jets. But let's go through some of the dailies today and yesterday. Let's look at some of the headlines. I will begin with the Independent, the daily. On the front page of the Independent, it says relationship at the Senate is toxic. Toxic. Relationship between the press and the Senate is toxic. And it reads, Monrovia Legislative Press Pool, Legis Pool, an umbrella group of journalists assigned at the Senate, the upper house of Liberia, Liberia's bicameral legislature has alarmed as it relates to what it described as a toxic working environment in which assigned journalists find themselves, making the special remark at the end of a one-day refresher training organized by the Senate Press Bureau at the Capitol building. Those that use the press to get into power are now hostile to the press. Legis Poole is saying the working condition at the Senate is very toxic. The power brokers there do not want independent press pool. As it is known in Liberia, almost all the lawmakers, they own their own radio stations, maybe their own newspapers, and they want to set the story. They want to be the newsmaker, and then they also want to be the news reporters. Also for the Independent, so a 1-year-old child died, and the Liberian National Police arrested a 37-year-old woman in King Jaw. And it says here, Grand Cape Mine County, the Liberian National Police is investigating Geraldine J. Lobo, a 37-year-old resident of King Jaw, in connection with the death of a 1-year-old girl, Winfrey A. Family, whose life was tragically cut short. According to the report, the child was brought to Sanjay Health Center on the night of May the 22nd, 2025, and was pronounced dead upon arrival. That's on the front page of the Independent newspaper. Also, the Daily Observer, on the front page of the Daily Observer, it said Magibians outrage over Metastew overpriced road budget. And it reads, Kakata Magibi. The recent announcement by Esala Metal that it has committed $527,000 to rehabilitate a 28-kilometer road from Kakata to Firestone Staff Clubhouse has sparked widespread criticism from residents of Magibi County. The company broke ground last week to begin the ground project, but many citizens have raised concerns over the cost, calling it unrealistic, bloated for a road that will only be graded and compacted. This is the discrepancy. They are saying these companies have the audacity and the gall to do a little work and put high value on it as though they're doing something which they say it is unrealistic and it is false, and they want the Liberian government to take them to task. Let's look at the Inquirer. On the front page of Inquirer, it carries self-defense or manslaughter. A woman investigated for following fatal attraction in Magibi. Fatal attraction is a love triangle. If you ever saw the movie, that's what it is. A lover kills another lover. There you go. Either fighting over the same man, and a fight broke out, and one kills the other one, and she claimed self-defense. Again, on the front page of the Inquirer today, Moja incites Liberian to demand accountability. Moja declares corruption crime against humanity. And it reads, the Movement for Justice in Africa, Moja, has officially declared corruption coupled with systemic violation of the rule of law and human rights as a crime against humanity. That is Moja. The Torgbean family are in a royal rumble. It's a fight, one for the ages. Elizabeth, Malita, who telling the truth, a sibling clash over John Hillary Torgbean's estate. And it says this, Anthony's, in fact, for Elizabeth Torgbean, commonly known as baby sister, have issued a statement clarifying the rightful heir to the late John Hillary Torgbean's estate. Kevin Waters, James Sunday Bryant, and Adurame Barry, representing Elizabeth Torgbean, the oldest daughter of John Hillary Torgbean, have reached out to shareholders, tenants, and the public to address misconception regarding the heirs of the estate. The attorneys, in their statement issued yesterday in Monrovia, emphasized that Elizabeth Torgbean is not only a biological daughter of John Hillary Torgbean, but also one of the administrators of his estate, highlighting that John Hillary Torgbean was never married, which raises questions about the legitimacy of other children who are making claims. This is what we are talking about. This family fight over property, it continues. So here we go. We go here and let's hear what our former president, President Weah, said in his Mother's Day speech. He says he admonished folks to forgive them, but don't deal with them again. Preaches Mother's Day's message. Former President George Weah has publicly addressed allegations that he is hard to forgive and hard to forget, thus clarifying his stance on forgiveness, drawing on a biblical reference to illustrate his point. He also emphasized forgiveness, but don't forget. And then finally, front page Africa, says here, Senator Duncan defends wealth accumulation by public officials, criticizes silence on foreign exploitations of natural resources. Shameful justification, some people say. So this is why he says, we can't sit down and other people can't get rich in our country. Then when Liberian man wants to get rich too, everybody fighting and hauling him down, saying he's a senator. He's not supposed to invest. He's a representative. He's not supposed to have money. In the end, when we leave office, 2 months later, we are here with no money. The very people there will be laughing at us, saying, oh, you see, he used to be this, he used to be that. Look at him now fighting for taxes. But when these so-called investors come into our year in 2 years, they get $20 to $30 million within 2 years. But they don't want us to. We have to invest in our own country. So, Honorable Victor Namwe, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Gilman. It is good to be here. Let me also help you welcome our audience, and thanks for joining us. Share the show, invite a friend. Let's have a good time. Excellent.
These are the headlines of the Monrovia, some very interesting ones. Family fight. I know you know a few things about the Tomalin people for the Kepamas. They're fighting over properties. They are washing the dirty laundry in public. That the man was never married. So whoever claimed to be legitimate is not legitimate. So you're the upriver, you're the way upriver man. You're from Kepamas. You're from the Maryland County area. This is your family, people. You're all family. What's going on here?
Well, you know, the family is just like any ordinary family. The Tomalin family is a big family, and yes, I got very close. I got to know some of them. Shed Tomalin Jr. Was the godfather to my sister, who in turn was my my mother, second mother, and so I got to deal with Shed Tomalin a lot. I got to know him. And yes, the family is a big family. I think what is happening is just what happens in every Liberian family. There is always a question of the rightful owner or the rightful heir or whatever it is. But yes, of course, especially in these with families, where large fortunes are at stake. This is not unheard of. I don't know the details of this. I've been disconnected from them for quite a while. So I don't know exactly what is happening. But, and like I said, I know some of them. Harriet was my sister's closest friend. Harriet Tomalin, I think she was also Willie Tomal's daughter, I believe. So, yeah, I got to know them. But I don't know the details of this dispute. I'm just going to...
Excuse me, did you say you knew Harriet Tomalin?
Yeah. Harriet was.
Were you around when Harriet Tomalin was alive for the Underground Railroad?
Not the Harriet Tomalin of the Underground. I'm talking about the Harriet Tomalin of LIB from Kepamas, Monrovia. Kepamas, Harper, yes, Harriet. And so, yeah, I don't know the details of this dispute, but I'm going to assume it's just like any other family would have, disagreements on how to apportion the fortune. But I was a little bit touched by the last part of what you were reporting, Senator Duncan, Sino, and this is the kind of attitude some of them come with into government, and that's why we are where we are, and it's a pervasive. It seems to be a pervasive perception among the lawmakers, and the Snow is on record declaring that they think they were not being paid enough, And now this gentleman, I think he's the first term, he's a freshman lawmaker or so, you know. Yeah, of course, people are allowed to get rich in Liberia, but not on the backs of our poor people. You know, does he really believe the kind of loot that he's getting at the Capitol building is deserving? He deserves that? Is that what he's going to tell us? That's not the way we want our people to get rich. Go and start your own business. You know, go and make your own money, and nobody is going to question your riches. But if you're going to scheme and steal and rob our people, and then we must do what? We must hail you and praise you for stealing our people's little money that you be helping to pay their retirement, their hospital bill, you know, make their roads better, you know. And is that what he's really expecting us to do? I'm shocked. I'm disappointed because I don't know him well, but you know, I know you know, he fought a difficult fight in Sino. I think the people really have a lot of confidence in him, and they gave him this opportunity. You know, I think what he's saying there, you know, he sounded like there was liquor talk he's talking there. I hope it was. Yeah, the people expect all of us to do better, but you have to go and sweat it out and earn your own money. You can't come into the Senate and take $100,000 you call constituency visit or whatever you call that. You know, you taking thousands of dollars, you know, of unwarranted, you know, appropriations, and you want us to say, "Oh yeah, wow, this guy is really rich now." Oh my people, Jesus Christ! Oh my God, he is so rich. No,
Yeah, is he a Liberian?
he's from Sino, I presume.
Okay, so if he's from Sino, he's a Liberian. Isn't he allowed to invest in the country and make money too? Or because he cannot be, like you say, he cannot be the judge and the jury and the executioner. He cannot be sitting on the concession agreement and then being part of it. Is he allowed to invest? Like he said, I need to invest. I can invest in gold, in diamond, anything else, and get wealthy like everybody else.
Absolutely, let him do that, and we will hail him for being a rich man. That you know, but it not through what is happening right now at the Senate. What is happening at the Senate and at the House of Representatives is thievery. And that's not how we expect our young. That's not how we teach our young people to amass wealth. And certainly, that's not a way to amass wealth. Yes, let him go and invest. You know, his paycheck as ill-gotten as you know. They have padded their paycheck as it is, but let him invest that and show us how he's turning it around. You know, and making it to grow, and not waiting to get a paycheck from the clerk or whoever is at the Capitol building, and then you know wait to get a $45,000 car every 3 years, you know, and then we should call what that's being rich. No, no, that is called stealing from the people. That's ill-gotten wealth you're accumulating, and that's why the people are going to speak up against that.
Well, in the United States, when you become a speaker or government official, they tell you to declare all your assets and put it in a blind trust
That's right.
for someone else, another agency, someone else to take care of that. So I heard what I read yesterday, the charges against Fonati Kofa that were later on retracted through the confection. Two of the charges was he was a representative, he was also the speaker, and they felt that he was doing business on the side by working as a lawyer, private lawyer, they said. So wouldn't that apply here? That you are working in the Senate, you are making laws, and then you're gonna be operating as a businessman on the side. Wouldn't that be the same equivalence?
Well, provided there's not a conflict of interest, because you know, I don't know what committee is on, but you know you're charged with supervision and monitoring, you know, and making sure that these companies are doing right by our people. And these are some allegations they had against the Speaker of the Lower House, and because they alleged that, or why he was in the House as a speaker, his law firm, although he said, he was publicly disengaged, but there are a lot of people who believe he didn't. And this firm was was representing almost all the big companies in Liberia. That is conflict of interest. So yeah, I mean, if he's going to be in the Senate and he's doing legitimate business on the side, which does not conflict with his job, with his function, then that's fine. He's allowed to do that. But if he's going to use his office, you understand me, to enhance or to give him undue advantage, then that in itself is wrong. That's conflict of interest. That's peddling of influence. And some of them do that. But not only that, some of them are actively actually taking money out of the government coffers directly through these illegal appropriations that we all read about and hear about at the Senate and at the House of Representatives.
Well, before we go forward, let me make this announcement. Honorable Mariama B. Fofana, former representative, District Number 4, Lofa County, will be our guest on Monday. She will be right here the first half of Monday. We're going to have Honorable Mariama B. Fofana. We're going to be talking to her now that she had lost. I don't know when she was representative, whether she ever appeared on the closing argument, but she lost her seat and she's coming here. We'll find out why she's coming, what news she has to tell the folk. But she will be our guest, and we'll call her all the respect because she's an honorable person, and we will find out why the people decided to kick her out. So here we are. Before I go to our next topic, Honorable Namwe, if the job of the legislature, right, is mainly oversight, let's look at that piece alone, that oversight aspect of it.
Exactly.
So how can you have oversight and you are also an entrepreneur, an investor, and you obviously you will sign a contract with the government because everything has to be legal. You were talking about conflict of interest. Yeah. How does one justify that?
It's just practically unjustifiable. I mean, that's what we're saying. If you have oversight over the cement industry, for instance, and you run a cement block factory on the other side or whatever it is, that's conflict of interest. Because one way or the other, whatever little business you're doing is linked into, the cement industry, and it's almost difficult for them to not conflict, in the performance of their discharging their duty as an official lawmaker and engaging in these private enterprises. It's difficult, and it's a very tightrope. Some might manage to walk it, successfully, but it's very difficult. And most of our guys, they don't even take time to avoid, any or the appearance of conflict of interest. Most of them don't really care. So it's you can suppose you are a senator and you're on a committee that has nothing to do with agriculture. Yeah, if you have your farm and you're making your farm, I think that's a different matter. But where most of them head, and they're part of members of these various committees, they're supposed to conduct hearings and all of that, hold these people accountable. And if you find yourself doing business with these people, how do you expect to stand up to them and stare them down and tell them, no, sir, or no, ma'am, this is not how you're supposed to do it because what you're doing does not benefit our people. So it is, that's why, I was hoping that they understand that coming into a public office, these are the requirements, these are the expectations. But I think some of them are pretty much aware of it. They just choose to ignore the fact that they're conflicted in many instances. So when the senator is speaking like that, I don't know. I hope you will come and clarify, because the little I heard of him, I think he's a pretty successful guy. If I'm not mistaken, I think he did pretty well before he came into the Senate. And so if that is what he's talking about, I think then that's different. But if he's talking about enriching himself, why, during his time in the Senate, and therefore we should hail him and praise him for that, I think he's mistaken.
Excellent, excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the new edition of The closing argument I have with me, my partner here in crime, Honorable J. Victor Namwe, will be discussing current events in Liberia. Obviously, if you are aware or familiar with J. Victor Namwe, he's from Maryland County. And I think he's proud of being from Maryland. Are you proud for being Maryland, or you are proud of Dr. Monrovia?
I'm a proud I'm a proud Marylander, man. I wear my Maryland badge proudly. I'm very proud to be from Maryland. But I hope, listen, I see people writing in the comment section here. Look, you can't blame the CMC people for being punctual, for being on time, for loving to serve you. Tell the other people to come and join the show. This is not a hostile takeover. We're just here because we're disciplined. We come early. I'm not saying the other people are not disciplined, but we're just here. Don't blame us for being punctual and efficient and coming to sit and talk to you. Call the other people, let them come and represent themselves. Bring your CDC people, bring your UP people, bring your ANC people.
Or they themselves can come.
Exactly.
You, come on. You know, is that Musa Benete was saying to me, you guys you're sitting in Liberia, you don't want to get involved, you don't want to do anything, but all day you just talk. How you expect things to change? That's how I got involved. Okay? So, guys, if you're tired with the CMC folk, just come on. You are ANC, whatever left of the whatever, just come on.
Just come on.
Defend your turf.
And you can come as fiery as Mr. Gay came yesterday, and then we don't get to see you again for 1 month.
And he get weather away. He yelled and screamed. Look at he ran out of gas and just dissipated, and he just left.
He came quickly to make a few points and just kind of he dipped.
and like candle, he burned himself out. You know, the longer they live, the further down it goes. But let me read the weather again for those of you who are traveling.
No, I thought that was pretty interesting. Please do. I think it's pretty interesting. If we could, maybe we could give our people the heads up on what to look forward to tomorrow and all that.
I am going to do that. And I got to let me pull up my book here. Let me see. I didn't do you justice, my friend. I didn't do you justice at all. Let me see what the weather is like here in Maryland County. Okay. Let me say Harper. Okay, let me see what Harper looks like.
Mr. Given, let's please not deny the young Robert Garguah from entry. I think he's in the bag if you can bring him on.
Okay, Mr. Garguah, we'll bring you on. But every time you get late, you see that, like the chairman was saying here, every time you get late, you get put in a back room and you sit there.
You sit there and wait.
Sweat a little bit. But yes, they will bring you on soon. I'm letting the guy know. There you go.
There he is. There he is.
Mr. Garguah, let me see the bottle of wine you've been sipping on today.
It's in the refrigerator right
it's
now.
Chilly,
There you go. What's up, Robert? It's good to have you, man.
It's in the refrigerator right now.
Welcome.
I think you guys are. I think my Wi-Fi is kind of messing up a little bit. So there you go. There you go.
Okay.
Great. And if you are in Harper today, your weather there is 82 degrees. It feels like 80. Okay, the humidity 83 degrees. And the weather, they got various weather. We got a little bit, 40% of rain. By the time it's 9 o'clock tonight in your time, so but this time it's about to rain. So New York City is 71 degrees and cloudy. In my hometown, beautiful. I'm on the coast there. 86 degrees, mostly cloudy, high 89, low 75. In Miami, it is 88 degrees, partly cloudy. And if you are in Monrovia, 82 degrees, it's hot. It is 89, 90% humidity, is cloudy. And you from our hometown, Buchanan, it's 81 degrees, cloudy, humidity is 88%, and the wind is blowing at 4 miles per hour. So here we are. This is the closing argument. We are academic. We are punctual. We don't just come and cause my. We know what's going on. So if you are in Buchanan, this is your weather. By 1 o'clock tonight, it should rain. So govern yourself accordingly. Robert Garguah, here we are. Let's go from what we're talking about here. President Joseph Boakai again left town. We didn't see any of the pageantry that we saw during his first time with one of the only thing I saw was his deputy minister of state for presidential affairs, Anthony Kessley, put a beautiful picture of himself, said, I just saw the chief off. Then the question was, how did the chief leave town? He didn't want to say until somebody from OKFM texted me his private jet. Said, this is why he didn't want to tell you, but he flew. He tried to leave clandestinely by the private jet. So here we are. President Joseph Boakai left town today, going to Abuja, going to Lagos, to Nigeria for the 50th anniversary of ECOWAS. Again, he flew on a private jet. This time he didn't say they sent it for him. Your take on the hypocrisy and the continuous audacity to try to say you can fly out of Liberia where nobody see you.
Robert. I mean, I'm not sure if that's a strategy that's winnable, because there's no way that the president of the republic flies out or leave the country without anyone knowing. Even if it was done secretly, one way or the other, something will get disclosed to the media and the general public. What those guys have to understand is that though officials of the government is loyal to the government, a lot of those guys that are within have friends that are without, right? And so these informations are not secret. And I don't think that the president of Liberia, for security reasons, should be leaving the country unknowingly. I think that we need to know where the president is. We need to know the purpose for his trip. We need to know how these trips benefit the country and the people of Liberia, because it is on the backs of taxpayer money that he's traveling. He and his entourage are traveling. So this is not the first time they've attempted to have the president leave. And one thing that I've noticed, every time the president is traveling on a private jet, this is when they attempt to have the president secretly depart the country, as if the president has his own Air Force One base. There's no other place that the president leaves the country other than RIA. And even if, unless the president leaves in the middle of a darkness, and even if he did that, again, we will still find out. But Mr. Number, Mr. Gateman, this is the hypocrisy that we've been talking about from the genesis of this administration. And every time you mention this stuff, people always say, well, you got 4 more years to talk about it. And I made a post today about this, and I had a few comments where people said, well, do you respect the president and his entourage to fly commercial? Do you respect this? No. Oh, when have you been an advocate against presidents flying a private jet? I've never objected to the idea of the leaders of Liberia flying private jet. And if this is a conversation we must have, then it must be a national conversation that, from our perspective, makes sense, right? I have spoken out against the optics, and the optics is you cannot have 85 to 90% of the masses live in abject poverty. You cannot have the country depending on international aid. You cannot have the country begging for money. You cannot have the country telling you that, well, there's no money when it comes to everything that's important, be it healthcare infrastructure, be it the economy, everything else that's important, be it education. The University of Liberia is leaking. We cannot generate $100,000 to fix the University of Liberia. So everything that is important, that is critical to the future of Liberia, you don't have money, but you have money to fly private jets. So I've not objected to the idea and a security factor of the president flying a private jet. But this must be a national conversation, Mr. Nangwe. This must be a conversation that is logical. And it must also be a conversation where we understand how insensitive this might appear. This is what I've spoken against. How do we explain to our people that we are struggling as a country, that we do not have money for everything else that is bread and butter related, but the president and his entourage can fly private jet? And so I have spoken against the optics. I think the question we should be asking is to the Unity Party and Joseph Boakai because they frown on this issue. They heavily criticized President Weah for flying private jets. And they made this argument and they scored political points. And in fact, they won. So they won on the basis that we were not being insensitive to the plight of the Liberian people. And so in the face of economic hardship, we would not fly private jet. In fact, the president said he didn't care about all of this stuff. He could take wheelbarrow to the executive mansion, right? Court. So when we're speaking about these things, I think the hypocrisy comes from the fact that every single thing they have criticized, they've done. Everything they have criticized, they double down. So now we must look at the security and the logic of the president flying private jet. Why did we not discuss that during President Weah's term? Why we made political spectacle out of this issue? So the hypocrisy is coming from Joseph Boakai and Unity Party. But am I surprised? Am I shocked that they have exhibited this level of hypocrisy? Absolutely not. I anticipated this. I've never believed that they were the alternative to CDC. And everything that we anticipated, everything that we warned against during the campaign, it's on display.
Thank you. And somebody texted me said, I left out Nimba County. That's true. I'm sorry. If you are from Nimba County now, it is 76-degree thunderstorm. And it's going to be 80%, possibility at 11, and now 70% of thunderstorm and rain. So if you are in the Nimba area, it is cold and it is thunderstorm, and it goes all the way up to about 1 a.m. in the morning. So if you're in the Nimba area, govern yourself accordingly. It's going to be rough. The thunderstorm is there. The weather is a little cooler than everywhere else in Liberia. But Mr. Nambe, President Boakai, from the inception, you remember he snuck out of the country and people are wondering where was he, and he said the president of Ghana sent him a helicopter overnight to fly over to Ghana, only to find out that nobody invited him. Why he went to Ghana, nobody knows. So here we are now. This new wheelbarrow, the flying wheelbarrow that I saw. You see, just about I didn't tell you whether it was a regular wheelbarrow or flying wheelbarrow, but this is a pretty beautiful flying wheelbarrow that took him out of the country today.
First of all, let me thank you, Mr. Weatherman, Jerome Gaiman. I hope our people they pay attention, because this is how you prepare yourself when you're stepping out, even though Maria will only have rain or sunshine, or whatever it is. But listen, Robert is dead on, right? These are the very things these people spoke about. When the past government was in office. I mean, how many times did we not hear we are sneaking out of the country and going to see Jackie appear? To the point where Nana Akufo had to call the ECOWAS people to tell him he should stop sneaking in. Whether some of it was true or whatever it is, but these are things they talked about yesterday. When the president started this, I heard some of his spokespeople, whose name began with M and end with A, Mo Ali, saying the president was taking Uber, whatever it was, Uber flight or whatever it was, somebody can live, but look, this is becoming the mainstay of the president. I think he's enjoying it. Everywhere he goes now, whether from Morovia to Vanjama, yeah, you're right, Jerome. His first visit out of the country, he snuck out. I think he was in Ghana attending some kind of wedding or something. When the news broke, they said the president invited him and all of that. But look, you are not the president, all right? And I heard some people make the argument, and they might be right, that once you become the president, it is difficult to do certain things that you did yesterday. For instance, you may not be able to fly economy, you may not, maybe business class, but you cannot fly. I don't think you can fly private jet all the time, especially when we can't afford it. So these are things they criticized yesterday, and they're doing it. Somewhere I read, Robert, you may have seen this in our own chat room. One of our friends, Alex, was speculating that he heard they're beginning to put together a plan to spend $31 million. Now, he said he's yet to substantiate that, and I think he will, because he's a journalist. But I know what people say, where there's smoke, there's fire. Apparently they're now going forward. They've gotten so accustomed to this private flight now, they want to actually buy one. I wish they would buy an Air Liberia, so that when you and I fly from New York, you understand me? We can then maybe we can even fly on credit. You know that Liberian thing that we fly on LPA. We say, yeah, a big girl, my people. Let me come to Moravia. Maybe next week we are getting money.
Right.
Or you're going to look into that and tell my old man there, let us say one copa and help me, But yeah, this is where we are. The president of the country, we understand, is in Lagos. I don't know how many people are on the delegation, but it has been reported that he flew a private jet. Now, what is even more disconcerting is there are also reports that some of these jets are provided by business people who themselves are not meeting up with their obligations, such as B Mountain. Do you know what these people are doing to our people in Birmingham Hills? The president went there, rightful indignation. He got upset, closed the place down for all of, I think, 1 or 2 weeks. And then he opened it up for a hefty $200,000 fine. You know what I mean? These people are taking out millions. Last year, the Minister of Land and Mine reported the extractive industry, 1.5 billion they took out of Liberia with a B. Wow. And lately is reporting we got only $82 million out of that. Not even 1%. Right? Or 10%, maybe my math is off. But yeah, governance is different than opposition. It's easy to criticize, but when you are when you're in office, it is very difficult to defend, especially when you're not doing the right thing. And right now they're making almost all the wrong moves.
Excellent.
And Mr. Gateman, just to elaborate on what Mr. Nagwe said. And again, the problem is that we're not honest. The problem is we're not honest. And everything does not have to be political, right? Yes, we spoke against George Weah former president flying private jet, because I still don't think it makes sense when thousands of folks are struggling and the president seems to be living the life status does not reflect that of his people. So I think the smart thing to do, why can't we look at, instead of even spending $31 million or more on presidential jet, why can't we invest $50 to $60 million on a used commercial airline that will create jobs and bring in revenue for the country? And whenever the president is traveling, the government can put in a budget where that Air Liberia, is responsible to take the president and his entourage.
Absolutely, Robert. And making money at the same time.
Yes, they can pay for it. So we can have our cake and eat it too, right? Where, yes, we have an Air Liberia. We can start flying in the region. And look at what's happening in our neighboring countries in Sierra Leone. That's what they're doing. But all of these private jets, the security factor, we are willing to listen to it. But it's the hypocrisy. You beat on George Weah for flying private jet, right? You had no idea the security factor. You didn't raise none of these questions. And now this very thing that you campaign against, this is very thing that you are doing now. Now you want us to start looking at the security factor, like my friend Ibrahim Darrell Dillon said. Look, listen, I don't think it's smart politics. I think we have to start having these conversations that will bring economic empowerment to our people, and this government can still benefit, and the presidents can still benefit. And when we get to the place where it's necessary and we can afford to acquire a private jet a presidential private jet, we can do that. But everything, we can't play politics with them. That's exactly what they did, and they're eating that words right now. Henry Costa said, and I quote just a few days ago when I brought up this whole private jet thing, that the president has stopped using private jets. I wonder what he thinks now after what happened today.
Excellent.
Jerome, yes. Jim McBarrow, I don't know, but she brings it. She's funny. She said you forgot the weather in PYJ's hometown. So I said
it. I covered the whole Nima County. The last time I checked, PYJ hometown in Nima, so it's all right. And to Fumba Okenya, you are right. You from Cape Mar County. The weather in Cape Mar today is 78 degrees, but it's 95% the humidity.
I think people are loving this weather thing. You better get serious at it and get paid.
Yeah. The water, it's 95-degree humidity. It is hot. So here we are, and it's also clouded. They all have one thing in common. The whole country is clouded. The rainy season has arrived. Everywhere you're in Liberia, you're now being affected by the cloud. But here we are, Mr. Nagwe. Before we get back on to our main topic here, the court is accusing Noah, the NTA deputy director, Noah Gibson, Zawu Gibson, has been summoned for interfering, using his power to interfere with a court proceeding. The court had evicted some people, and he used his power as deputy at the NPA to obstruct the eviction. Isn't this? I mean, I don't want to go there because go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this is the tragedy of Liberia, Jerome. I'll be honest with you, I don't know this gentleman, but I remember he religiously called in to various, network and shows to advocate, for the rule of law, advocate for the people and all of that. I think he's a member of our compatriots from the people with disability community. I think he's I think he might have a sight problem or something like that. Yeah, and so a lot of us were very happy when this government brought him in to serve. Kind of give dignity to our brothers and sisters of the group of 77. I believe that's how we officially call them.
Yes.
And then he comes into this government and he's contributing to this lawlessness. I mean, he's in the company of several people. We know Mike Jabate is on record for threatening to kill Yege Koluba if he ever is
a lawmaker.
A lawmaker. President Yamani is on record for declaring he's a rebel. You understand? And the man is saying killing. It's funny, but it's not funny. And these are the people we call our government officials in this country. This man walks in a court and threatens the people because the judgment doesn't go his way. Is that how we're going to run the country? I think he's a deputy or assistant minister at the Ministry of Transport.
Deputy.
Exactly. And let me tell you, nothing is going to happen to him. He will not lose a job for one day. Nobody will do anything to him. If he might even end up carrying the case. The case might go his way. It's just unfortunate sad. I don't really have much to say about it. Just to say that it is disgusting. It is foolish. If you are a government official, you are a role model. You're charged with the responsibility of upholding the law. You may not like the judgment, but the law is the law. If you disagree with the judgment, then file an appeal and go. But you can't walk into the court with violence and go and threaten the people. Stomping all over the place and flexing muscle. Would he have done that if he were not a minister in the government? Heck no, never would have.
Robert Garguah, this one. It says here, front page Africa. It says here, NTA Deputy Director Noah Gibson summoned for a lead role in disrupting court order eviction. And it says that the Painesville Ministerial Court has summoned Deputy Director General for Operations at the National Transit Authority, NTA, Noah Zawu Gibson, over allegation that he interfered in a legally mandated eviction and he incited community resistance in an ongoing land dispute. This guy, the court summons signed by Stipendiary Magistrate William G. Sigart, comes at a civil law court reaffirming a prior judgment in favor of Joseph W. Boosie, authorizing the recovery of a disputed property in Jacobtown, Painesville. The ruling follows summary proceeding pursued by Boosie through his attorney, in fact, Henry Gamodet. Gibson faces accusation of menacing, disorderly conduct, and criminal coercion under Section 14.25, 17.3, and 14.27 of the new Penal Code of Liberia. Court document alleged that Gibson, alongside others, unlawfully entered the disputed premises and accused Boosie and his legal team of being criminal land dealers, both on the property and publicly via ELBC radio. Can you imagine? This guy, this guy, Zawu Gibson, this man is Deputy Director Noah Gibson at the NTA, using his power disrespecting the court. For the man who is disabled walk into the people's property and call them names and incited the community to resist the court. This is the Liberia. They say the fish get rotten from the head. Have we seen this before somewhere? Maybe.
Well, maybe I'm relatively still a young man, so maybe I need to have conversation with my pops. Maybe we've seen it before, but and maybe we've seen stuff like this, but not at this level. I think senior government officials are intentionally and bluntly disrespecting the court's decision, and nothing is being done about it. There are no actions taken to hold these folks accountable. There are absolutely no action. But are we surprised that senior government officials are disrespecting, using their position to obstruct court's orders? Are we very surprised yet? Right? Listen, I don't care what we do as parents, as leaders, as influencers, as people who have the platform with voices, right? People listen to what we say. Not only that, people look at how we conduct ourselves. And there are times where people may think that certain thing is okay if they see those who they look up to doing similar thing. The thing is okay. President Joseph Boakai, in fact, used his power as the most powerful figure in the country to obstruct justice, to disrespect and disregard court orders. We saw that during the legislative impasses. In fact, the Justice Department succumbed to the president when you thought that the Justice Department should be independent, especially given the fact that they have an appreciation for the law. What did they do? They did exactly what the president told them and instructed them to do. Right? Today we have government officials running around and taking photo ops with the so-called speaker and saying, Mr. Speaker, right? That's what they're doing. This has become order of the day, Mr. Gitman. We shouldn't be shocked. This is not the Liberia we desire. This is the reason why I asked my friend and brother when he talked about the kind of Liberia he wants for his son. And I believe that I want the same Liberia for my son and my daughter when I have them. I want that Liberia because, like I said, I don't want to be in this country as an old man. I want to return home. But what does that Liberia look like? What should we demand that Liberia be? That Liberia must be guarded by the rule of law. That Liberia must be guarded by the Constitution, regardless of our personal feelings, regardless of our political affiliations, regardless of how we might feel about a certain ruling. We may not like it, but we've got to respect it. That's the Liberia that I want. But what we see under this administration is government officials making threats. You talk about Mark Jabate. I don't want to be denigrating to this guy, but I mean, God help me. Do you think what kind of influence would Mark Jabate have if God did not bless his heart to support Joseph Boakai after he had flip-flopped all over the place, and he got the position that he's in right now? What other influence would he have? But what's also happening is we continue under this administration, and this has happened in the past. Let's be very fair. To see people who have influence and power use that influence and power to disrespect the poor masses. You think this God would try this stuff for anyone else who did not work in government but has some money? You think he would try this nonsense? What they said Raccoon know the tree to do that stuff with. This is what we are doing. Powerful people, influential people, government officials continue to use that power, that temporary power, to disrespect not only the courts, but take advantage of folks who may not be in the position that they find themselves in right now. And we sit back and we think this is a norm. This is not normal, folks. This is not normal. And guess what? You could be next, because the people who are not in power right now, those people might be next. And this is how war started in our country. Because how you treated them, they're coming back with ventures. They're going to treat you the same way. And then it continues to spread. Look, we can't, this is not the Liberia we desire. It's unfortunate.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome Honorable Pewee. Welcome, sir.
Hold on a minute. Thank you. Thank you.
Sylvester, welcome. Look, Jerome, I beg you, man. I don't know. I'm having a blast today with the comments. I don't know if you mind because these people are killing me. Ruth said, as soon as Sylvester bounced on the stage, you said another CMC finalist. Oh my God! And this question is Mandela.
These people gotta understand that even though we are panelists on the show, we like everyone else, we have rights to feed here politically. So it doesn't mean this is a CMC show. Please stop saying that because it's gonna hurt my heart. This is not a CMC show. This is a closing argument.
Mr. Nambe, on a serious note, and that's part of the reason why ever since I got into this thing they call politics, I'm always very observant. Beyond that, I love to take some time because perception, you cannot stop people from the way they want to think about certain situation, particularly if they are partisan. Those people that are partly litigating elements will be difficult for them to then remove their thought process from the way they want to think. So sometimes what I do, the best way to do that, and most of my professors said to me before, hey, if you cannot shift the thought process of an individual, what you do the thing that is necessarily right, and they will see it eventually. They will always counter you, but if they were to revert personally and do some research, you will understand, hey, probably I just hit this guy for no reason on the basis of, and particularly for us Liberian politics, we do it we're very unreasonable in doing them sometimes. We don't focus, we just want to see, even if I'm correct or Mr. Nambe is correct, because Mr. Nambe is from this party and from that party, Mr. Nambe should not say anything reasonable to me. I mean, those kind of things sucks a lot, and we should not, as people, allow those things to come along with us. But Mr. Gibbon, I'm glad to be here today. Yesterday, I was one of those individuals. We from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I was following today from the United Nations in New York here, and the Liberian government closed her campaign. It's a closed campaign. The ambassador, permanent representative at the United Nations, get a very powerful statement and the rest of that. I'm very hopeful that come on the second, there's going to be another thing they're going to launch, and eventually the third is going to be the vote. But this is going to be a very critical process. And we see the Liberian government being canvassed in all over the place. The former foreign minister, the chairman on foreign relations, all those people, they are currently in New York engaged in having discussion. So the level of public diplomacy have increased it, spread across the table in terms of how we're going to go about this issue. But it's going to be a significant big win for the country if we were to get that as a not permanent member on the door. We don't going to have a veto right, but we're going to have a lot of powerful influence in terms of other line to get involved into international diplomacy, security diplomacy, and economic diplomacy, and the rest of that combination of all. So I think I don't know if today we're going to be discussing that, but I told Tomalin about this weekend, we're going to have an exclusive 1 to 2 hours discussion on how the foreign policy objective of our country is moving forward vis-a-vis relative to this not permanent seat. Remember, 15 members we have on the Security Council. 15. We have 5 permanent members and 10 non-permanent members. And then those other seats are given on the basis of regional and geographical balance, right? Africa, we have 2, so we're going to be doing it from a different regional perspective.
So let me ask you this, though.
Mm-hmm.
As far as you know, or do we have ECOWAS or the AU behind us? I mean, have we gotten any endorsements from any of them and any of these people?
Yes, now we have the problem here is still a very sticky and a little fluid issue. So we have some countries in the region because it's not only Liberia. So
It's now okay. There are other countries.
yeah, it's not. They got other countries. No country I love, and that's the reason why I think this foreign minister.
Yeah, but I was hoping, right? Even if not, you at least in a little Mana River Union corner.
Yeah, I think yes. I think we got
some kind of international.
I think we got the support of the Mana River Union business support is lacking already. That I can. I'm clear of that. It's lacking. Okay. And I'm sure that, and that's why we went beyond that. The region, the former foreign minister, I think the information, the former foreign minister and current senator of Grand.
You mean Senator Finlay or
Finlay is also engaged. I think he was in Burundi meeting that government and the government. I think we're getting some information. We're getting some big support from that bloc also, and we're going to get some. But I think the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sarah Yanti Bezo, very strategic in how she tried to structure this process. She and her team, they deploy a very strategic way we're going to go about this. The last time we went for it, we didn't get it. But I think this time around, we more surgically engaged into the process and making sure that we canvass across the line. Diplomacy, you know that. You've been into politics for a very long time, Mr. Nangbe. Diplomacy is such thing that, it's a dedicated process. You have to engage and continuously engage, right, in terms of how we want to do this. We did it last year. It didn't work for us. There are a lot of other countries across because the biggest political gallery in the world is at the United Nations. That's the world's most powerful area where different maneuvering will unfold. Now, I had the privilege of going there consistently for 4 years when I served as an assistant minister of the dead Garguah. So there's a lot of things that can happen behind the scene. And I think this Minister of Foreign Affairs is engaged with that. And I will hope that the country will project itself to that level that we all can celebrate. And I thought, Mr. Chair, Mr. Presiding today, that should have been your head topic also. We need to focus on the project.
We're waiting for you.
I don't want the people to come always say to us, we CMC. Let's discuss it. We'll know that we're discussing Liberia. So,
we're discussing Liberia.
And I see Tomalin not interrupting me today because he happy the way I discussed it today. He says pushing the country to move on in line. So
talking about it, your uncle,
but listen, Gimme. Yeah. We were on the show sometime last week when Costa came on the show.
Yeah, I just want you to see your uncle trying to speak out of the country.
Yeah. No, my uncle is not. Listen. Moving forward, you got to know how you address my uncle. Because you're wrong. I stay trying to address my uncle. You got wrong fast. But let me say this quickly, right? When Costa came on this show, Costa said, and that's why I just realized that they in this same chair and laugh. Everybody will want to prove that he's talking to the president, right? It's obvious. Because I say, it would never happen again to say he's the assistant president.
Exactly.
Right? And immediately he said it less than, right?
It's not even quite 1 week yet. That was last Friday, right?
Because I even came out, he said the postman said $1,000. Yeah, when I'm pushing it, you can get it, right? It didn't even take 3 days. I will let it begin. I will let it put do the begin. I mean, I get information from my president.
You know what you're talking about.
Today, but again, I support our president flying private jet for me. Now, the only reason why people are now trying to bash at this regime is that because they hate the former regime heavily on that. And I one of those at the time, though I served in the administration, I said it was not a wrong thing to get a private jet. It will even be cost effective for us. If you have to fly a private jet, the thing is one cost thing. You get, say, the jet will carry 10 or 15 persons. How much is going to cost us? $150,000. If you were to travel with the president on a commercial flight, let's say the president is going on Air Brussels coming to the United States of America. One business class ticket would cost around $6,000-$7,000. The president is traveling, so now maybe with maybe 6, 7, 8, 10, or 11 ministers in business class. The president is traveling with a group of other security that will be around in business class and other deputy assistant ministers probably in business or economy premium. Were you to calculate that amount and the inconveniences that the president will encounter during his commute, I mean, so these are the things. It brought us on security, it brought us on convenience, and all those things. So that's what I observed. I said, hey, it's appropriate that the president file that way. It will be okay. Maybe it is a major, how do you call it, continental flight. Then maybe from distance, maybe then you can get some major commercial flight that the president would use. But there's not big time money, but again, the people rather they politicize it in the past, and that's why it's haunting them now today.
Right.
So that's why if the guy said, if you are in a glass house,
don't throw stone.
Don't throw stone.
But also, Sylvester, I would not support it, and I think this could possibly be a national conversation to be had. I personally would not support Liberia in millions in just a presidential jet for the president. I think the best idea, if we truly want to invest, we must invest where private sector job growth and possible millions in revenue for government can benefit. Let's have a conversation about, is it a possibility that we can acquire Air Liberia, for instance, right? Maybe invest $100 million. I'm throwing out a number out there. And the executive can have in his budget funds that can charter the Air Liberia when the president is traveling. Can we do that? Instead of just having a presidential jet for the president, I think that would be more feasible and more economically beneficial to the country as opposed to just the executive. I think that's a conversation that I would support. But if it was about acquiring just a private jet for the president, I think it would be a waste of money and it would not bring back anything to the country.
And you're right. Quickly, even the last time when I traveled, the former foreign minister went to Cote d'Ivoire. For instance, Cote d'Ivoire, right? Cote d'Ivoire got fleet of aircraft, and it's being used by Air Ivoire. When the president is about to travel, they have one of them. They always need to they get it set, and the president use that to do his presidential travel. But it's owned by the government of Cote d'Ivoire.
Yes,
it's bringing in revenue. So so they bring in the president to travel. So I mean, it makes a lot of sense, and I agree with you. We can get some fleet. We can have what that's what we get about 10 fleet of planes, as you said, around 100 million, right, or thereabout, or 5. That can be used for regional travel in the region. That will be carrying Liberia. If Liberian citizens start traveling, we drop the discount a little bit. It will encourage us to start selling. Just got few of those fleet. One direct flight not going to London.
That's what the president uses for his presidential trips in the region.
Yes, that's all.
Thank you. Let me work on the Chief Tomalin George. Welcome to the show.
I said, but Mr. Gamer, we got to go back to the national security permanent seat. I got some questions about this.
We're coming.
Now, when I told you to report assistant minister, okay, Robert.
The man
said, the question I'm about to ask, the private thing I'll be asking, but I think we got to ask the technical question here.
Chief Tomalin, the last statement there, if you could flag it for me, let me see what your homeboy say there. On this show, last Friday, not this one, the man said that even President Walker, they offer a private jet to him, he won't do it again. Before we move on,
no, you didn't understand it, man. You say if they offer, you won't do it, you won't pay for it. You didn't say it.
Tomalin George, that's your homeboy. That's our homeboy. Did he misspeak here, or because so he said it? The president went and got one.
Well, anyway, let me say good to be back on the closing argument. But it's always good to be with the brothers on the great platform. And also,
don't get in trouble. We did not purposely exclude the sisters from here today. Don't start. No trouble. I beg you. You know the lady, when they come on here, they're going to wreak havoc.
Yeah, and to the viewers, I want to say thanks for tuning. But look, what we got to do, even though we're not journalists, but we're supposed to, what we're trying to do right now, to investigate this issue with a private jet. Now, we'll find out whether this jet costing the country taxpayer money. We got to find out. We'll find out whether this jet was sent by somebody, or the Nigerian president sent his jet, or somebody sent his jet to take our delegation to Nigeria. We got to find out. We'll have an informed and decision and do our due diligence before we find out they come out. So right now, we are investigating to find out the whole issue of this jet. Okay.
When we take some time to investigate, we'll find out all the time we are
Thank you.
But I'm not one of those who attack we have for flying private jet. So Yeah, so I
But
didn't.
that's a tough thing.
No, but if
But
we do this,
Chief,
But we already told you where you got a private jet from.
Chief,
We
I tell
already
you
told
this.
you where you
Though.
got a private jet from.
I
Chief
used to. I
Tomlin,
used
I
to
tell you,
no,
I tell you
but
this.
President,
Though.
President, we had 2 years. He said, "Look, my friend gave me jet to
Right.
fly," and so I mean, so let they should have found and said, well, what are the government were paying for this private jet you were flying?
No, it's the government responsibility to tell the folks that I'm flying this is free. And what the law said, the law said government official cannot accept any gift beyond $200. Is that really less than $200?
More than that, Jerome.
I agree, but at the same time, too,
all of us here know there is no free lunch.
I know. So
there is
we got to find out.
absolutely-
We have found out. I'm sorry. We have found out whether they. I mean, on a serious note, let us take our time, and at least by tomorrow we come out with some answers. They found out the jet the president flew to Nigeria with today.
I agree. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Yeah.
What it costs in the country, because what the country is being is paying for this for their flight, and so forth. Because I learned about this jet, it's $13,000 an hour per hour. I don't know, but I found all these things. Who sent his jet? Whether it was free and everything. But like you said, there's no free lunch. So we found out what happened. But that's why.
Tomalin, is the government chasing you? Why you keep looking back when you're talking about this thing? Why are you looking back? You scared somebody might be.
No. But I think that's look. That's what I keep on saying.
Remember,
look, right now it's all about fight going on. Look, I in a chat room right now where you got CDC, UP people there. They're just fighting. I say, and all the official government, the former official government, they want in that chat room fighting. They call it the chat room boxing 4.0. Boxing, yeah. I want to do right now. They're fighting right now, back and forth. I mean, you name them. All the officials that will feel in that chat room fighting right now. That's what I'm telling you guys. We can't waste the time on the people that are fighting each other. So my position is clear. We should start thinking about the next option to move forward. Not what's happening. Mr. Gayman, you told the people.
No, I come into it next. Ladies and gentlemen, we made a flyer this week, inviting the Doe family to come on and give some insight, because there have been too much misinformation, disinformation. So the management invited the Doe family and they accepted. We did a flyer, we did a publication. Then they reached out in the 23rd hour and saying that the government of Liberia has scheduled a meeting or has asked for a meeting. And they want to meet with the government of Liberia. After the discussion, then they will come back and honor the invitation. And I think in any situation when there's death in the family, we say, please honor the family, give us time to grieve and XYZ. So I reached out to management and I told management, I think to me, in my opinion, it's prudent that we honor their request. It got to meet with the present administration, the Joseph Boakai team. It's prudent that it meet with the president or his team or the administration, hear what's going on. And then after that, they can come back and honor the invitation. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I know there are other views. Mr. Nangwe, you, then I go to Mr. Pewee, the diplomat, then I go to Garguah. That was my opinion. My opinion is if the family reach out to you and say, we have an urgent meeting with the president or his team, give me an open invitation. Let me come back after. I think it's prudent for us to do that while they are grieving. Your take.
No, I read some of the comments in the chat room. I agree with you. I think we should accord them due deference. They're not forced. They're not, I mean, we ask them, it's a courtesy for them to come and talk to us. And if they're not saying absolutely no, but they're making it conditional, give us a little bit of time. Let's talk to the president. Yeah, I think we should give them time. I think we should let them, come when they are ready. I mean, that would be my take. I didn't write anything during the exchanges. But I think we should, if they're asking for time to talk to the president, I think we should give them the space, let them do that. When they're done, they can come and they can talk to us. That might even give us a much more complete picture.
Honorable Pewee.
Yes. Yeah. I think I stated clearly that it's important that we give them the opportunity to do that. Whenever you cannot be meeting the chief executive, you come in on a serious note. That would have been a serious slip on their path, right? There's a pending meeting with the chief executive of the republic. That meeting is a privileged meeting, so you cannot, in terms of bureaucracy and the rest of that, you cannot. There can be a pending meeting with the president of the republic. Then you come. Probably you may just prejudice the whole intent of the discussion and the rest of that. So I would think it is very prudent that they hold on to this. It's not cancellation, but delay this appearance on the TCA and hope to see the president soon, right? Because they did in a very kind of a ticket issue here. They lost their mom, their grandmom, and what have you, and our first lady, also former first lady. So they're going to meet with the president. Probably the meeting with the president can permanently cancel this appearance, right? Or the meeting with the president can give room for them to come again, or they can stay coming. I mean, then this president would take all the glory. For all other presidents have not been doing, probably he will come and say, oh, we're going to do this. We're going to take all the glory, and then we can move on from there. I believe that Uncle Joe himself worked in the Doe administration at the time as Major Boakai, Major Joseph Boakai. He served as, all of them took the rank of a major. Right? The PRC mandated that they have to take the rank of a mayor and the rest of that. So he worked in various capacity in that government, starting from Lofa, came LPMC, and that of agriculture and the rest of that. So I think he worked with the PRC administration also. So yes, it will be okay that we listen to them, and hopefully, probably they would meet. I think the president is in Nigeria. I don't think it's going to take long. And after that meeting, we're going to hear something very positive or somehow rocky that may just create the news. And that news may just come from the air that day from both angles. So I think it's reasonable that we give them some time. And whenever they request to come back, we should even give on a short notice. We should try to find a rearrangement date for them to come back.
Great. Rawa Garguah, this is the power of the closing argument. This family have been behind government, pursuing government for years, decades, and nobody wants to talk to them. Closing argument made a flyer. And once that flyer hit the airwaves, the administration contacted and said, don't go over there. Come, let's talk first. So for those who are back there, who are doubting Thomas's of the power of the closing argument, let's just put this to rest. Nobody wanted to talk to this family until we did our flyer, until the management did our flyer, and the flyer went wild. And all of a sudden, last night, today, the man was getting ready to come, and Tomalin called me and said, I'm on the phone with the family, and they're talking to this is the power of this media, this space. Your take.
Yeah, I mean, the closing argument remains a available space, and I've consistently said that. And in fact, there were people who said this was a campaign, that people will come and close the argument, and after the argument has been closed, the closing argument will be closed. Well, the argument has remained open, and we look forward to many arguments being made and closed. But I think that this is a very sensitive thing. This is a death in the family. I respect, and I don't know the entire family, but I do know that Sylvester is a sister to me. She's a very, very close friend to me. She flew from Paris and came to my wedding. I've been knowing her for a very, very long time, and I spoke with her while she was in Liberia recently. So my condolences to the family, my condolences. I have not met SKD on a personal level. I know he knows me, and the other family, but we have got to respect the family's wishes. I think that there's a political piece to this whole thing, right? Because parts of the family have already started speaking out, right? The other daughter of the family have already started speaking out with series of attacks on the former president. There have been questions about whether or not the former First Lady was given the respect and the benefits due her as per the Constitution. And I think that's a conversation we need to have, but one that is honest, because it's not just about the former First Lady. I think it's how we politicize treatments that are constitutionally due to former officials. We may not like it. We may not like the package of it, but as long as it's constitutional and it's law, we've got to respect it. As we speak today, former vice president have been talking about the fact that she has not gotten what is due her by law, because again, we are making political decisions and not legal and constitutional decisions. And so my only reservation here is the flyer was out. The family had agreed for their parents on the closing argument. This was not some kind of arranged meeting. For the president of Liberia to contact the family from a very important meeting in Nigeria, I think that speaks volume. It speaks volume. And I mean, out of respect, I don't want to make phone calls to have those conversations because I don't think it's necessary right now. But I think it raises question: what is this about? Is it? I don't understand. The president can have a conversation with the family, and the family can also choose to say, you know what, these are things that we want to talk about. They may be political and it may not be political. I think they have the right to express themselves and they have the right to talk about whatever they want to talk about. But for the president to speak with the family, to have any kind of decision-making factor on whether or not they were PA on the closing argument or not, I think it also speaks to how powerful we are, and it also speaks to the role that we play. But there's a political, I think there's a political thing that is surrounding this issue that I don't really like. But listen, my condolences to the family, and in this difficult time, I will respect their wishes. And I think we as a body and an institution, I think we should also respect their wishes. But that's a big listen. If this guy would have appeared here tonight with any accusation specifically made against the former president, Mr. Nyenwolo, you know there would have been pushback. This is the political part, and I'm glad he did not appear, Sylvester, because again, I'm not sure if he shares the opinion of the daughter, one of the daughters who have attacked and questioned the sincerity of the former president and the CDC. You know, there's a political aspect towards it. So I'm glad he really did not appear, but we look forward to them reappearing on the show whenever they choose to do so. Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's ever been going for you at the mode, is it?
Hold up. I see for you in the back. They're washing it with champagne.
You know that is AI?
Eh?
This is an AI thing. You can't want to believe they want.
They wash it with.
Because I want to ask, how did they get over there? I see the houses all around.
Yeah.
They wash it with palm wine. No champagne. George, if your establishment is responsible for bringing peace and calmness and resolution to this problem, I think your organization deserves all the credit. If this is what it's going to take, then this is the magic bullet that brought this to an end. And we want to thank the closing argument management for reaching out and being considerate. This is a very, very sensitive issue. People are grieving at this point. It's an international issue. And if we can finally, amicably, you're the head of your household. You got children. And if they are fighting and you call them to order, you want to meet with them, I don't think any one of your children will get up and say, to hell with daddy, I'm not going to that meeting. So if the father of the country calls for calm and say, give me a few hours, give me a few days, let's meet and see what we can come up with, I think it's prudent. And I'm glad the president did that. You got to give him credit because this thing was getting out of hand and he brought it under control. And hopefully it will be amicably discussed. We're going to leave from there. Everybody's going to be happy. Mrs. Doe is going to get her state honor. She's going to be buried honorably, like anybody. She's going to be given her state funeral. Everything that she deserves. Everything else should be under the water, under the bridge. So I want to thank your management. One flyer. Thank you very much, Chief Judge. It's your turn to comment.
Well, it's said it's always good to have more heads. When we have an issue, you get other people involved. So initially, I wasn't happy initially, but when the other guys on the team, which I said it made a lot of sense. What you guys have said made a lot of sense because they approached us. I got up this morning. I saw a message from SKD Gian in my box, and he told me to call him. I called him, and then we reached to the point which they were going to appear. But then apparently, when the president called him directly, and then he said that. Then prior to the show, they said, "Well, Mr. George, please," because when the flyer went up, the whole family, I think they got a whole balls. All the family members got started calling, but they were wondering who this guy coming to come talk today. And in fact, even during the call, I remember, and I tried to convince the guys to come. They said, "My man, you're closing argument, so you're technical." So, and the guy made a robber, made a Pewee, and they were gonna start saying the poor Gary. Then the people not get what they want, so I'm bringing the people here. It made sense, yeah, because they were gonna ask the questions to be asking. Yeah, they'll go straight. They'll forget what the woman devil. They'll go somewhere where different place, and then everything with chakla. So it makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, and so I agree. Yeah, for them not to appear tonight is good. Let the president return from Nigeria and be with them, and maybe after that, man, it will be fine. So I think. They want us to just forget about it, at least for now. Let us go silent with it and let them. So I think for now, for me, I consider it closed right now until they be the president. So right now, I think let us. I agree with the team. You can always reschedule.
But Tomalin, this guy, I just for clarity though, this guy does not represent the entire Dole family.
That why I was before I got.
Yes.
I was told.
So that's why I'm very glad, Mr.
Yeah.
Goodman.
So right now they are saying that please your lead that topic, please lead that topic. You'll move on, please. We beg you. So let lead that topic. Let them be with the president.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't come to one because a lot of
Robert, that because of you and Sylvester, they put him on kind. I beg you, leave it now. Let go.
Yeah, but listen,
the boy already didn't kind. You still won't grab it.
Because there's some things we know behind the scene too. I was praying that he did not come. A lot of things would have happened here tonight because yes, we would have asked the technical question. So I'm glad he didn't come, and I'm hopeful that the president can kind of put this to rest. Because I know he does not represent the entire family and everyone. I mean, people got different views on this whole thing. So I'm glad he didn't come.
Jerome, just 5 seconds. Let me please clarify something. CFI is part of us. He's been on the network. When we're talking about the aircraft, he made a comment in there to the effect that presidential aircraft is very expensive to maintain. It requires a crew. And I think Robert laid out very, very plainly. I think he's missed getting the point. The whole point was, it's like you buy your house, you rent the upstairs part, and the poor upstairs are paying the rent for you. You're living rent-free. Robert is saying, get the aircraft, make it Liberia. Yeah, you will run, between here and New York, wherever, you will make the money, and then when the president needs it, you make it available. And that alone will pay for the maintenance and all of that. So I just wanted to make that clear because, people follow all of us here differently. People follow him. I wanted to make sure, that he didn't leave with a misunderstanding of the argument we're making.
Thank you.
Great. Before we move on, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow is Wednesday. We are going to be hosting Honorable Professor Wilson Tappet tomorrow.
What's in?
No holds bar. We are going to be here tomorrow, 5 o'clock on the dot. And I'm telling you, doors will be closed at 4:45. At 5 o'clock, the event starts, and nobody else will be allowed in for security reasons. And it is going to be something else. He says everything is on the table. We are talking about the appearance of Costa. He's going to respond to some of those things. He's going to respond to what I have been talking about all along, an official autopsy of the party, what happened, what went wrong, what they learned from this, and all of that. We're going to be talking about those things. And then everything else. He's been professor. He's been managing director of the port. He's professor at the university. He was EPA guy. He was everything. And a campaign manager, I think, for this Gong campaign. So we're going to be grilling the honorable. We're going to have, he's academic. So, he's going to answer to everything. Detailed, academically. Honorable George, your guest tomorrow will be Honorable Dr. Tappe. Your take on what you think going to happen tomorrow?
Well, I know Professor Tappe. He's a member of my church, the Methodist Church. In fact, the Tomalin Memorial United Methodist Church in Painesville. And whenever I return, I visit home. I always meet him in church. And he's also a staunch member of the former ruling CDC. He's an executive of the CDC. He also former Minister of Finance, Minister of Commerce, and the last position he held was head of the Environmental Protection Agency. So I think it's important that because from what I've noticed, I'm not seeing a lot of surrogates out there for the CDC. They are being to be pushing the agenda or coming to the defense and so forth. You can even count the people that you see out there right now. I've noticed I see Isaac Do, I see Carlos Gray, and Kef Hassan. I see Luigi Nangwe. So far, that the people I see. And
you got to mention Cyril. I keep telling you.
No, and Sarah is an unapologetic citizen. So
I gave her my title. She can have it.
She's a very smart woman, and she understands the issues. I'm one of the few women that on social media on the platform that I've come to really hold in high esteem, because she just do talk loosely and she knows the issues. You can tell. In fact, D2 and James Scotty said this woman is she was from the great Tournament High. So, and that's where they say the great men and women meet. And so if you can go through the walls of Tournament High, you know that you're strong. So Sarah is not somebody to push around. She knows her issue. She cannot just be pushed around. So, but she's been fighting for them too. But for coming from the party executive, it's good that Professor Tappe is coming. And I hope he come and engage the platform, and we hear from him, because a lot of issues, a lot of questions he'll be asked. I'm sure the panelists will really grill him. A lot of issues we'll hear from him. So we'll look forward to that. And we hope to have a very nice show with him tomorrow.
Wow, great! I just got an email here. I'm reading. It's from Dr. Levi Zanga. He wants your indulgence to appear on the show. He wants to talk about all the big UP folks. Look at the Mr. George, you started something here now. The big time UP folk going to come on and defend something.
Zanga, even UP ain't from Lap.
But what is different between Lap and UP? I mean, now, come on now.
But are the Igloo guys in there?
Exactly. But Jerome, let me just say something about Wilson. Professor Tappe. Wilson is not a fanatic. First of all, he's my UPP brother. Let me just put it out there. He left the UPP to support the former president, just like Gabriel Matthew himself, who founded the UPP, left in 2005 to go and support President Weah. But Wilson he feels that the former president is misunderstood. And he's not just one of those Myean fanatics. I think I expect him tomorrow to be very, very surgical, as Sylvester would say, and be very, very, very sober-headed, level-headed. And he's going to come with the issues. So we should all be ready tomorrow. He's coming with his points that he will want to get across. All of us, we just need to be ready tomorrow to make sure that we will hold our own against him. I know Wilson very well. He's very cerebral. He's very academic, but he also a realist. So I expect tomorrow's show to be very interesting. I hope our viewers will not forget to save the date and join us tomorrow.
Great. Dr. Zanga he wants to talk about the African Development Bank launches a special agro-industrial processing zone, SAPZ, that is expected to create 50,000 new jobs. Wow. The Liberia Special Economic Zone Authority, LSEZA, in funding partnership with the African Development Bank and the World Bank, has officially launched the country's first special agro-processing zone in Homelandville Township, Grand Bassa County. Okay, so this is breaking news. We'd like to see some numbers. We'd like to see some paper. We'd like to see documentation. So we're going to work it out behind the scene with the CEO, and we'll bring Dr. Levi Zanga on. He's also academic, working in the Ellen government, a steward of the Ellen, the faction of the government, and he will be coming on. Now, Mr. Pewee, while you were not here, you and this is to you and Honorable George, we're talking about, let me start with George first before I go to the diplomat. We're talking about the NTA Deputy Director, Noah Zawu Gibson, have been summoned for obstruction of justice by interfering with a court order. Can you imagine that a government official, deputy at the NTA, is interfering with a court order? Your take.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm not aware, but I've not gotten any information about that. So I got to find out. So maybe you guys can help me because I just hearing it from you.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the story here. It's been carried on the front page of Front Page Africa. It said NTA Deputy Director Noah Zawu Gibson summoned for alleged role in disrupting court order eviction. The Painesville Magisterial Court has summoned Deputy Director General for Operation at the National Transit Authority, NTA, Noah Zawu Gibson, over allegation that he interfered in a legally mandated eviction and incited community resistance in the ongoing dispute. The court summons signed that Zawu Gibson comes after the Civil Law Court reaffirmed a prior judgment in favor of Joseph W. Bussey, authorizing the recovery of a disputed property in Jacotown, Painesville. The ruling follows summary proceeding pursued by Bussey through his attorney. In fact, Gibson faces accusation by inciting and carrying people into the yard and disrupting and calling the folks' name in direct contravention of the court order. That's what it is. This is the story. It's breaking on Front Page Africa. Mr. Pewee.
He said Noah Zawu Gibson did that?
Yes.
Well, I come in. He disrupted. You know the reason? That's what
I know. Don't go there. I know you say you're blind. How can you do it? But the man went into the yard and incited.
But that's a hard question. So that political question. How can a visually impaired person disrupt? So I think I want to believe the lie on my brother.
Yeah, I think so too.
No, don't forget the government officials. They have the posse. You know, they got people who travel with them.
How can he? It said that he instructed.
This is what the court document said. The court document alleged that Gibson, alongside with others,
there you go.
Okay.
unlawfully entered the disputed premises.
Okay.
And accused the owner and his legal team of criminal. He called them criminal land dealers, both on the property and in public, and went on to the state ELBC radio Nightline Liberia program.
Oh, okay. You know, this second of mine, you know, listen, I've never got a story before back in the days. The politics, I think I was saying what the Guar, you can't contest in the be representing district number 11. And then at the time, I think Richard Kuhn, also the current speaker, was saying, so we have one of our comrades, he's also, I'm not speaking that he also visually impaired, Madam Nuku. So they went in the studio into FN having a discussion of Mamadi Sunday. Then Nuku let Nuku say he saw he said Gabriel was in the hall instructing a boy was just throwing chairs all over the place. Then the other guy turned to him say, "You blind, how do you see me throwing chairs over the place?" So that was a bit different. Was oh man, because I was going to say, "Man, you're throwing a chair on the place." But you see, so, but on a serious note, that's just the other side of it. On the most serious note, if Noah Zawu Gesem did that, and I listened to you, I know where you came from, because Zawu Gesem was one of those persons at the time when we all, I can let me include myself there. We used to refer to it as the regular quarters, right? We were time to time on the phone, calling from this place, calling from that place, and he was consistent. One of those and that's why when he was appointed by this president, I already hear his appointment on a serious note. The issue of inclusion and bringing visually impaired people with disability, and that disability act we passed in the country have not been really seriously implemented. One president, I think President Weah started it. Yes, started. Once President Weah brought one of our comrades also at the time appointed her, and then I think President Sadiq too did some. But yeah, the first time this president went as far as bringing someone that is visually impaired in a very major area in government. That was very commendable. And he, one of those presidents in terms of the advocacy, he was consistent, persistent, and very committed and loyal to his political institution. And I want to hail him for that also. But to hear now that those things he's advocated for before, he himself now part of the rank, in the rank and file of this issue of state bureaucracy, and using that opportunity now to disobey and to flagrantly disregard the laws of our country, something that he spoke of yesterday. I think it is repugnant and very unfortunate. But I would love to wait and see the details of it. But hearing from this is there's a court order, all those things coming out. I think I will call on Comrade Zawu Gibson to revert to the old days of him keeping within the ambit of the law instead of you being the lawbreaker or all these things. Now that you're government official, it's not a good thing to do. You're not setting a good example for the rest of the junior comrades behind you. It's quite unfortunate that he will have to endorse into those kind of things allegedly, yet to be clearly proven, because have not been factually proven that he did those things. It's just alleged yet, but it's unfortunate to even hear that he will endorse into those things. And I want to believe that probably his handlers or those guys led him into it, and he may have, mind you, again on the most serious note, he may have a lot of defense here. You may say they led me to it, right? So I didn't know where I was going at the time, so that would be a defense for him. No, you see, they led him to it, right?
Yeah, not only that, but they took it, they took it to ELBC and put a mic to him mouth, and he blasted the government and the court. He blasted the court.
He's very emotional, bro. The good knows how to get it. That's something.
Honorable George, I know that your friend, you don't want to say that, but this one, if the folks say he was on EFBC and he was blasting the court and the judge and everybody else, how can you deny something like that is on TV, is in the radio? When he was an advocate, he was poor. So he went with figure. Now he got access to transportation, security, and all that. So,
that's what I said. After the guys misled him, maybe they misdirected him, right? So he can say, "Excuse me, the judge, Your Honor, I didn't know where I was heading." Again, when I say the other war, I was kind of yeah. Oh, but listen, if they're accusing him, that will be a defense in court. If I'm the lawyer, that's a defense tactic we're going to deploy. Oh, Your Honor, my client was misdirected by a selfish individual. He didn't even know where he was headed, so he was helpless. That would be the case. But if he did it deliberately now, and he will come out and say, "Oh, I did it deliberately," that is different. But he will always have a Mr. Nabi, am I lying?
No, Sylvester, I don't disagree with you, but listen, then you know Zau. I don't know. I listen to him. The Zau I listen to, he will not get out of his own way. I'm sure he already said and did things that they will have on tape. More than that, when he goes in the courtroom, I'm sure he will still say things that will make him culpable. So,
Gentlemen,
no, he's
gentlemen,
emotional. I know him very well. He's very emotional.
gentlemen, real quick here. On Monday, we're going to have Myean Fofana and former representative District 4. Lofa County will be here. I think that is in your
I
book.
come in. Why are you people bringing all the people are making controversial statement if they're bringing it? Why?
Okay, and then finally, let's go to Edwin Snow. The Bombay County Senator Edwin Snow expresses fear for the life of his family following government accusation against him, causing the Liberian senator to ensure security protection for his family. Mr. Diplomat, Mr. Pewee, do you think he has a point here or he's milking the system?
I think, to be frank, I don't want to, listen, Snow love to just seek attention often, right? I don't think there's a need to do all these things he's going about here. For me, I will pay lip service to it. It's quite unfortunate here. And sometimes you come and make those incendiary comments, statements to just inflame situation around the country. He said that again before before we are clinched on the presidency. He said a lot of things he said before, and later on he went, but they are friends. I don't want to poke into that, but the hard reality is that he should start buying attention here, and the government is not after him. The government was just saying that you cannot be part of the government. I think he's been diplomacy in government for a very protracted period of time, but he's failing to learn. Is it just there because of the glory of those things and what have you? You should learn. You cannot be. Now, he boasts of this ECOWAS thing too. It's the government of Liberia that got you there. You represent the government of Liberia via the legislature, right? If anything were to happen, if you were to do anything that would be inimical towards the state of our republic, it is tantamount to those people also recalling you. You can be recalled. He created the same as though one cannot be recalled. You can be suspended. You can be expelled from the legislature. So to say things that are counterproductive towards our country forward march, it's tantamount to you being to condemn. And I think some of the condemnation, I listened to his press release today, he's trying to seek some sympathy here, saying the Ministry of Information is putting his life and his family in harm's way and all of that. I don't think so. You didn't know that when you're saying a lot of things. Do you know the implications of saying things that are tantamount to undermine the national security of our country? Do you know it undermine the life of millions of Liberian citizens also? Listen, these guys should stop doing these things that will do. They just want to sit and just blow up, make reckless, careless statements and come out tomorrow and want to buy sympathy from the public. No, we're not going to give that. I don't think the government is haunting him. No government is haunting him. Now, the opposition want to fix this to find out they want to find means to bash at this government. No, nothing. The government is very right in terms of what they're doing to protect the national security and the sanity of our country moving forward. Listen, I will not agree to things that people like Snow will always come and say because you want to bash some sentiments here. For me, that's a personal thing stand I'm going to take on this matter. He's trying to get some issue here. We're not going to go to that. But what I would think, I don't think the government is after his life. No, nobody's after his life, but he's just trying to make those polarizing, very, very polarizing statements. And you think you're going to find some sanctuary here, then you protect you and say, oh, the government is doing this to paint the government ugly. I wouldn't spend more time discussing that. But my point today is that, hey, the government did nothing wrong. The government did everything in keeping with this statutory responsibility of every state to make sure the security of our country is maintained and protected. Not one reckless individual will just make reckless statements and statements that would want to undermine our country moving forward.
Let me push back that. The government of Liberia says that Edwin Snow, through his network and his connection at ECOWAS, is undermining the government to discourage international direct investment, XYZ, to destabilize the country. Those things that sound very treasonous. And you're saying that they are common words?
Given, if you were to go and say to the international, that multilateral platform, the ECOWAS is a very powerful institution in West Africa. If you are to move in as a lawmaker in our country, move to the ECOWAS, say things in a denigrating, condescending, and incendiary statements against your own government. Is that not tantamount to undermining the security of our country? Listen, the thing we only do in other countries, we want people to do it in our country and support them. Given you only do it here, you only do it in a lot of other areas, nobody will do those things. To come and undermine your country, to say the country is not habitable, the country is not habitable for investment, the country is not habitable for business, the country is this, that is undermining the security of the country.
But he didn't say that. He been accused. The government said because he said he want the government to fail, he will use his connection.
If you use a connection for the government to fail, how do you interpret that?
But
yes,
listen,
but
go ahead.
How do you interpret? I come in quickly. How do you interpret someone using their connection for a government to fail?
But Sylvester, I think and I'm not a fan of Edwin Snow. And
Ralph, before you continue, quick, I come in. Such a man, I say, there is a man that participated. He was a belligerent element before. He participated part of a belligerent force before, and he's making no kind of a statement. We have to be mindful here.
Yeah, but then we've got to be fair. I don't think he was worse than. Listen, you see, when we start neo-progressive, I had to catch myself because I don't want to have to say things on national radio that I will regret. Because if we're looking at individuals who have played disturbing roles in the destruction of our country and the setback of our country, then I don't think Edwin Snow is at the top of the list. Let's be fair, right? But we have given and rewarded some of these folks higher positions.
You want to call the top of the list? Go ahead.
I want to get started because again, I don't want to spark any insensitive statement. I caught myself for a reason. You know me. I don't mess my words. But I intentionally had to stop myself just now. What I am saying is, I don't think Edwin Snow, when it comes to the participant of the destruction of our country, and those who contributed to the over 200,000 Liberians who lost their lives, I don't think he's at the top of that list. And I'm not a fan of him. I'm not a fan of his politics. We were just recently on this very platform talking about after Edwin Snow met with the president and his sudden view of the government. But the quote in question have not been authenticated that it came directly from Edwin Snow. And I will read this quote again. I will do everything possible, including using my connections in ECOWAS, to make the Bouaké-led administration fail, even if it means discouraging foreign direct investment to Liberia and making the country ungovernable and unstable until I become president of Liberia. It's been over 48 hours, or over 72 hours. I have not seen anyone from the government release any statement to confirm that this came from Edwin Snow. Edwin Snow speaks in the public at ECOWAS Parliament. And even if he was in a backdoor, closed-door meeting, the government can use its intelligence to get confirmation on whether or not this statement is attributed to Edwin Snow. For us to be having a conversation and for the Ministry of Information, right, to take its time and release a statement on behalf of the government, right, on allegations that have not yet been authenticated or confirmed that it came from Edwin Snow, I think it's unfair to Edwin Snow. The government cannot respond to gossip. The government cannot get in the business. This is the business of the news media. Do you know how many news media out there? Let them have these conversations. The government should be interested in carrying out investigations to verify whether or not this person said this. If they were to go to court right now, how could they possibly prove that these words are attributed to Edwin Snow? This is complete BS. And you know what? Edwin Snow is not the only person as an opposition who have expressed failure of this government. Do I think it's right? No, I don't want this government to fail, even though I don't agree with this Joseph Bouaké. I don't want this government to fail because we want the next election to go the other way. We've had this conversation, but give me a break. the Unity Party and this very government did not hesitate in expressing their willingness or their desire for George Weah and the CDC to fail. In fact, they did that. They did every groundwork, every propaganda to ensure that this government did not succeed at the level they wanted this government to succeed, because it did not benefit them politically. So is this a news? Should we listen, guys? I think we should focus on what is important to the Liberian people. I think there are bread and butter issues here, and I think this is a discussion, by the way. The economy is bad right now. Why are we not having conversations about that? Right? The healthcare system is terrible. Why are we not having conversation about that? Today, thousands of Liberians are going to bed hungry, and the president is flying private jets, something he frowned on. Why are we not having a conversation about that? I think these are more important things, other than talking about accusing Edwin Snow about a statement, Sylvester, that have not yet been confirmed.
We've been having
publicly. There's no comment on post about that. Why is the government wasting its time?
We've been having conversation on a lot of other things.
No, I'm talking about the government. No, I'm talking about the government.
Okay, guys.
I'm talking about the government. I'm talking about the government. But let me close on this, Mr. Gateman. I think that you know, no one should want his country to fail. I don't think any patriotic Liberian should want the government to fail because it benefits them politically or it benefits them for the next election. But I do not think it's unconstitutional. I do not think it amounts to treason for anyone to share the opinion that they want this government to be a one-term government and they want this government not to succeed. I mean, people have the right to express that. And I don't think Edwin Stone has done anything that amounts to what this government has accused him for, that has threatened his security. So if they're basing it just based on hearsay and they say and lies and facts, they're wrong. They're wrong.
If the government is also accused, listen, I'm not defending the government whatsoever here. I'm just saying, Snow accused former Vice President Howard Taylor of wanting to kill him. Snow accused Cyril Adam of wanting to kill him. Snow accused President Charles Taylor that brought him, prepare him, nurture him, of wanting to kill him. Listen, we have to be very mindful that that's one of the reasons why.
But those people had the right to take Snow to court to provide evidence.
Robert,
they had the right to take Snow to court to provide evidence.
1 minute. Let me play the original tape. Then it's 30 seconds. Let me play the doctor one that will flow you. Let me play the original here.
I pray it doesn't show them who from now. I want him to be a one-time president, so he doesn't do better than his groups.
Okay, that is the original tape from the interview with Spoon. He says he obviously he doesn't want the government. He wants the government to be a one-term president, so he doesn't want him to do better than his predecessor. Saying that tape now has been doctored, and listen to this. Okay.
I want me to die in the country. I want to suffer. I want past shit in the country. And how you can get me? I want all the want me to die in the country. I want me to suffer. I want past shit in the country. And how you can get me? Listen, let me run for what I say. I want all the want me to die in the country. I want the country to suffer. I want past shit in the country.
We know he didn't say that.
The doctor said, I want all the people to die in the country. I want the country to suffer. I want the people to suffer. Now, who in the world will believe? But this is what the Unity Party people are very good at. They took, they use AI, everything else, and how this man say, I want everybody, if you want to run a country and you want everybody to die in the country, so who are you going to be running? They don't even think about that, but they're saying that this man, that based on this particular tape now, they came up with this news release that this man wants to destroy the country and all that. I mean, please, there's something about Snow that they see that they want to get at him before he gets going. I don't know what it is, but Honorable Nyenwolo, I want all the people to die. I want the country to die. I want the country to be destroyed, whatever it is. And the thing this guy said is, and you see the background, that thing looked like 1920 or something.
Listen, Jerome, to be honest with you, I don't know. The government, they have to be smarter than this, you know. I mean, yeah, I know, as Sylvester said, you know, Snow has been, you know, I think he's being associated with NPP, NPFL, and all of that. So, yeah, he may have some, you know, military knowledge and stuff like that. But, you know, do they really believe that Snow is capable of, you know, I don't know, derailing this government? I think they themselves they're giving too much credit to. I don't know. I just think they have a lot to lose in this matter. Then send us Snow. And I think to continue to engage him the way they are, I think they blew this thing out of proportion, in my opinion. I mean, yes, Senator Snow has reasons to be concerned because government, you know, nobody can fight government. If government is bringing all the force down on you, yeah, you have to raise the alarm. I understand that. But I think really the government is the one that has not really been smart in this matter. What did it really seek to attain out of this press release? What?
Exactly.
You know what? You know, look, there are things the government can do, and they don't have to do anything, you know, insidious, anything, you know, untoward. But there are things they can do. They're the government, you know. They have investigated. There are a lot of things they can do. They can invest. They can find things out, you know. But to have come out with this press release the way they did, you know, like the crying wolf. What did they want? For us to come and have sympathy on them and do what? You know, the man doesn't want them to succeed because he wants to occupy the spot they're in. That's obvious. It is his right to say that. It's a democracy. It's a democracy. I don't think he's advocating an overthrow of the government or violence. I don't know. But if I were advising the government, you know, yeah, I would probably go home and reload it and magnify what he said, you know, and also let it hear what he said. But to come out in this kind of threatening manner and bringing all the house down on him, you know, I read a release from the Minister of Information. I don't know. To me, I think they're giving too much leg to this story. You know,
and this is all based on.
Yeah. Somebody want to also chime in. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello?
You're live.
Okay, thank you. Tomalin, Brother Goldman, how you guys doing? My name is Isaac Jackson. I am currently at work, and so I couldn't come on the show. And because the conversation is a little interesting, I thought to hop off from the office and sit in my car to make this small contribution to the discussion.
Okay, Jackson, real quick. Jackson, you say you are where? You are at stand or where are you?
I'm at work, but I'm talking from my car. Not in Liberia, though.
Okay.
I've been asked to communicate the enough is enough protest schedule for July 17th. I'm not at the headquarters of STEM.
My man, you gotta pay. I hope you pay. You sending a check.
You're doing free advertisement for Stan. We want you to send a check in.
Oh, no problem. We are supposed to have a conversation with you guys, even though I'm supposed to be one of the panelists on the show. But we're supposed to discuss with you guys to help promote the cause of the Liberian people. Everywhere around the world, democracy encourages the right of the people to assemble and petition their government.
Yeah, Mr. Jackson, but Mr. Jackson, Attorney Jackson, we will not support this. Matter of fact, we'll call you after the show because I think the problem with that protest is that some of the
man called for something else. I just want to know whether he was calling from Stan, but he said he calling from work here in the state. So go ahead, Honorable.
We gotta make sure you.
But let a man advocate to have.
Hello.
Go
At
ahead.
all times, I'm ready to discuss the protest. If you have a position different from ours, we can talk. That's what democracy encourages, right? We can disagree to agree.
No, I only want you to help demand that the international spokesman for the protest resigns. He's conflicted.
Mr. Jackson, why did you call on the show?
The journalist.
So, police and friends, I called to compliment the position they espouse by you. It is a position that I share in healthy measure. I believe the government is making a mountain out of a molehill regarding the statement attributed to Mr. Snow. Mr. Snow has clarified that he did not make the statement being attributed to him. And I am of the view that if the government really wants to spread poison or hate against Brother Snow, the government should bring us receipt. It is an established legal authority that he who alleges the fact must prove it. If the government said what Snow has said, it's not that I haven't said the government has not yet been able to provide any authentic recording of the statement the same Mr. Snow have allegedly made. So the onus is on the government. The government has all the security under its control. Why can't they bring us at least an authentic evidence to say this is what the brother said? So the government wasting our time. No, bro, let's be earnest. You and myself, let's be earnest. Have you read the latest report, World Bank report, 2025 World Bank report on Liberia regarding poverty? The World Bank is reporting that Liberia is among the 10 poorest countries in the world. Liberia ranked 8 places. So why should somebody wish Bwaka well when his country is among the poorest country in the world and he's riding a super luxury Leicester car? When people are languishing in poverty. Since Bwaka took over, since he became president, he had embarked on an endeavor to build homes for himself in 4-year retirement home in Brownsville. How much home has he built for poor Liberian people who voted for him? So why should Snow celebrate him? Snow, I don't care. I don't think it happened to Bwaka. Now they're weak, right? What is the intellectual proverb? It says, well, if witches were horses, Becca would ride them. Okay? If witches could come through, nobody would be poor. So just make a witch. Let's assume you made a witch. That a witch will spend all our time on. If the government wants somebody to support it, what is the government doing about the stinking poverty our people are drowning in? Bwaka took over with the hope that he will improve the standard of living of Liberian people. What has he done in that direction? The latest report, the 2024, the Global Hunger Index report. You know how you classify Liberia? Global Hunger. You can Google what I'm talking about. 2024 Global Hunger Index classify Liberia level of hunger as what? Serious. They say 2.3 million of our people go to bed hungry. And your president is flying private jet. Doesn't care about the welfare of the people. The last time Bwaka's wife was sick, she said she had headache, they flew her to Ghana. You saw the video of the pregnant woman who has to deliver in a makeshift structure in Peabody, and she died. So the protest that we're even trying to put forward is intent to demand the government to make the maternity sector, the maternity ward at JFK free. So our women can go to hospital and deliver. So it's appalled. But some of the things that Mr. Bwaka continued to do, he promised not to fly private jet. He flying private jet. For the first time in the history of the country, the car Bwaka rides is the most expensive presidential car in the history of our country. When the country is sinking in poverty, and you want Snow to be celebrating him, and you want any reasonable Liberian person to celebrate Bwaka, nobody sensible should celebrate Bwaka. Bwaka's son today, he got all share in almost all the country. In the country. Isn't that corruption? He said he was going to fight corruption. Is he decisively fighting corruption? Is Guar fighting corruption?
Today, Bwaka has shown a lack of span to fight corruption. Every time somebody is accused of stealing government money, Bwaka just suspend them. What's about prosecuting them? What's about reform of the money? Okay, he's doing nothing. He is complicit in the stealing. Why is he not transparent about the cost of the houses he built? When they organized the June 7 protest, what was it for? Oh, President, we are building homes. Okay, condominiums, complexes. That was President, we are building, and they were poor. So today, how Bwaga building some houses that started in secrecy in FOIA. Taxpayer money going there. Some people put it at 5 million, some people put it at 6 million. Because it's started in secret, people are open to speculate. Even the cost of the car that Bwaka ride, some people put it at 1.1 million. They say, oh, it's not 1.1 million. But the government will not tell you how much is spent to buy that super luxury Leicester car Jeep Mr. Bwaka ride. So, brother, you see that there is no moral integrity to what Mr. Bwaka is doing in the country. He dismissed the guy from Commerce for riding what? Luxury car. So, if Bwaka dismissed a Moda for riding luxury car, and Bwaka, he said riding luxury car will bring people in poverty. Should we not dismiss Mr. Bwaka? I think we should dismiss him. That's moral consistency. Okay? So, Snow was appalled or is appalled. What Mr. Bwaka is doing, and he frustration. What is the big thing about it? Witches are just witches. There's nothing wrong with somebody wishing, but old man on the president, especially when the president, subjecting the vast majority of people in the country to poverty. Is the president not ashamed that his country is among the 10 poorest countries in the world and she's doing nothing to alleviate that? He's compounding the poverty in the country. The president private jet setting, it drains money from the national coffers. Who in Liberia supporting this now? Who? You ask them. If they're supporting it, let's have a debate about it. Who in Liberia supporting it?
Anthony Jackson, number here, Victor.
And draining the Liberian coffer. Is he not qualifying private jet and draining the Liberian coffer? He's doing that.
Excellent. Honorable Jackson, we just been given the signal. We got 5 more minutes here.
Yeah,
but your closing real quick, Mr. Jackson, so we can go.
So my closing is that look, I think Liberian people are free, including Brother Snow, to exercise their Article 15 rights. You must exercise your right to freely express yourself, and the corresponding responsibility there. Mr. Snow has clarified that he's not saying what they're attributing to him. And if they are deeply aggrieved by what Mr. Snow has said, let them give or receive. And if the government cannot give or receive, it should shut up and do the Liberian people work.
Thank you.
Quick question here, Jerome. Quick question.
It's unfair.
We don't have time for question though. We got 3 minutes now. Thank you very much, Mr. Jackson. Thank you very much.
I'm so sorry I had to jump in late, but if the conversation continue tomorrow, I can come back in, talk about the snow position and talk about our pending protest. I'm passionate about the protest. I think Liberia should stand on the shoulder of the leg of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We should stand on the shoulder of Nelson Mandela. We should stand on the shoulder of Mahatma Gandhi. We should stand on the shoulder of our own Gabriel Bacchus Matthew. If democracy is supposed to work, we should stand up for democracy. That's what it is. They say all power is inherent in the people. What did Malcolm X say? Malcolm said the power of the people is not in their submission. It's in their refusal to say, no, we can't do this. No, we're not standing up for the white people on the bus here. That was change America. So stand here. But Rosa Parks said, I will not stand up for white men to consider. The people should say, no, the country is not Bwaka private estate. No, we will not take this for Bwaka's son to be millionaire overnight. We will not take this that the men who are living on loan become millionaire overnight and flying private jet all over the place. When the poor people remain poor and nothing has been done to improve their standard of living, they should say no. And we stand with them to say no. We protect the right to say no to Mr. Bwaka. If you don't want to say no, he said no. If he's scared to say no, he said, oh, I say it, I hate business. I haven't stand in support Mr. Snow right to say no, Mr. Bwaka. The country is going down the drain and you are working in opulence and ostentatious living and it's unfair.
Thank you, Dad. Thank you very much. I will be calling you.
Is that like Gamer? Is that like Rosa Parks was not distant in Liberia fighting to change things here in America? She was here in America fighting.
Okay.
Is that like Martin Luther King was never in West Africa fighting to do change it, right?
Okay.
He was right here trying to do that. Listen, it's not because we're taking our action here, man.
Gentlemen.
And that's the reason why I hate about Liberian politics. Those people were right here to fight for change. Go back in Liberia and say what you're saying there. You don't sound loud because you're saying that. Go back in Liberia.
Mr. Pewee.
Go there and stay on the shoulder of yourself. Now I'm talking in Liberia. Then we know you want change.
Jerome, let him talk now. Give me,
I just want to build some point here, right? So the issue about Rosa Parks, all the kind of thing when she went to in the US, she went in the bus. This will message you to come.
Mr. Pewee, when I heard you say this, what I don't like about Liberian politics, it kind of.
Yes, but we want to bring other people.
Don't give up.
We want to defend. We want to set an example that we thought. But listen. The problem is we agree that a lot of the enormity of the challenge we cannot speak to them, but we have to do it in a way that will just fit us. If we rather want change, it's not us. Why do you think I'm talking about going back? If I want to do something, I'm going back. Because you can be effective when you're on the ground. You can be very effective when you're on the ground. When folks see you, they get motivated.
Is it man saying that I don't intend to go on the ground? I'm going on the ground. I've even announced today that I got.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you say you're not going on the ground. You're not getting my point. I said, though, what you saying, it can be effective when you're on the ground. I'm buttressing what you're saying when you're on the ground.
Let me say this quick. Let me say this quick. You know, it is unfair or it's unfortunate. That's what I will use. It's unfortunate to discount Liberia in the diaspora when there are trouble and challenges, you run to the same Liberia in the diaspora and the remittances will help you in Liberia. So that I'm in the diaspora currently and speaking about issues of national concern doesn't isolate me from the issue. I will be there. I got colleagues with whom I organizing on the home front. Mobile Mother is taking the lead here on the home front. George Tenga is on the home front. How do you call it? Tata Pakala, they're on the home front. They do stuff. I will be joining them very soon. You in the diaspora, you are broadcasting to Liberia, right? We can't shut you down because you're on closing argument in Liberia, but at least people are relaying you in Liberia. It doesn't matter. The world is a global village. It doesn't matter where you stand in this world. If you are concerned about your people, your presence will be felt. I will go on the home front. Liberian remittances have helped Mr. Bwaka, even though he has even shown that he doesn't care because he's not president. When Trump was coming behind like the people in the diaspora, Bwaka was in the public and joking and saying that you gotta come and be like resident in that place and do it. You forget to know that Liberian people remittances made him get elected. It's heartless. And I don't think Snow should be scared. They will charge me for treason, so I gotta take my word out to draw it back. If he said that he's not pleased with Mr. Bwaka and wishing bad luck, come on. You know how many people Bwaka subjecting to harsh time in Liberia? You know how many people suffering when Bwaka rallying, he lost 0 cars, he and his children stealing as those stealing were going out of fashion? You think what's going on there? We should be able to say.
Listen, my position, I will never ever. Mr. Nangwe, you said something, I can never discount the politics backbone in the country. And given you said, my point basically is that whenever you are engaged or trying to indulge into those kind of issues about protestation, if you're on the ground, it makes a lot of sense. And the reason why I spoke to the issue just now was Mr. Jackson referenced Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and the rest. Those are very towering figures that push transformation in this country. And that's where I disagree the last time with Costa on the show. I agree about family thing. Martin Luther King was a family man, but he still was very firm in advocating for the people of this country, right? Everybody. So and I'm looking forward, and I'm delighted that Mr. Jackson said he's going back. Maybe that may encourage most of us to also join the process. Right, if we see the international spokesperson or the senior spokesperson of retire struggling or our people struggling protest,
enough.
Okay, enough is enough. Maybe I come and check on my something. If I can skip the leg and get a cheap ticket to go in, maybe.
We'll find out the trip to join the rally.
Okay. Okay, I don't have a problem with that.
All right, Mr.
No, but
Goodman, what's the next?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's move on now.
Mr. Pewee, you're closing.
Yeah. You want me to close? Oh, yeah. I think
Yeah, it's time
so.
for us to go.
Yes. I think on the most serious note, we look forward to hearing good news on behalf of the country come the 10th of July, of June, while we await the mobilization process for this coming protest in July. But we want to celebrate the country first and foremost. Yeah, it's important. It's very sad to hear the news that we are among the 10th poorest country in this been happening for almost 2 decades now. We haven't had the opportunity. We need a leader, a very aggressive, progressive leader that we want to move the country, hold the bull by the horn, and do some transformational intervention in the country that will try to lift the country out of poverty. Many of our folks are staying in an object poverty. They are destitute. This is wrong. We have to do a serious situation in that and try to lift the folks out of that. And I'm very concerned about this also. We look forward to and seeing the government, this government will have to move and do a lot of things. And we heard the current head of LRA says they're going to lift our domestic revenue capacity upward, and we'll look forward also to seeing that we move to around $1 billion, 500 million. That will help move the country forward. I think this is constraining, but that's why I'll close on tonight. That we pray for us to get this non-permanent seat as a lot of morale boosting thing that will put us back, and then we can leverage that as a part of our soft politics in moving the system forward in diplomacy. That is very important. And let me say good night to everybody.
Thank you very much, Robert.
So I look forward to engaging Mr. Topper tomorrow. I took on I had some questions about when he was chairman of the COVID-19 Food Distribution Steering Committee. I look forward to more explanation and more clarification on the $9 million operational costs. He attempted to clarify and to the Senate. I also look forward to him expanding on what he called the past administration smart decision to not audit formal features of the government, because that would have been a distraction to the PAPD. Look forward to then other questions. With the whole Edward Snow thing, I think the government should stand down. I mean, you cannot waste time on an issue that is surrounded, that is based on hearsay. There's no authentication that he said that. He has the right to say he wants the administration to fail. I don't think there's anything unconstitutional about that. Others wanted George Weah to fail. I don't want this government to fail because I don't want Liberia to fail or the Liberian people to suffer. But people have the right to their opinions if that's what he feels. I don't think we should waste time on that. Last, I'll close on the Security Council. I'm looking forward to us really having an in-depth conversation on this. And I think the conversation should be one that should not just be about us focusing on Liberia, because I continue to ask, when Africa has 2 seats, as at the Security Council, as a continent, how should these countries be chosen? Should we look at prioritize, or should priority go to a high economic growth country? In case of South Africa, $373 billion, Egypt $343 billion. Should we also look at, they have the largest economies according to International Monetary Funds, right? Should we also look at demographic, right? Nigeria has about 225 million people. Ethiopia, should we look at South Africa, for instance? All right. And so I think there's a lot of things that Africa, we're talking about, do we have the support from ECOWAS? I think there are major conversations being held behind closed doors as to Africa uniting behind countries that have economic powers, that have the demographics, that have the history, and so forth and so on. People just said that Liberia is the 10th poorest country. And in as much as I would love Liberia to have one of these seats, to be honest with you, from our perspective, and I think it's a patriotic perspective. I don't think Liberia, when you consider all of the things that should be considered, I don't know if Liberia have what it takes to have the backing of other African countries when you look at the economy, the demographics, and so forth and so on. But it's always a great show, and I look forward to tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Nambe.
Am I saying come back? Or
Who's that?
if Jackson, when I come back to close, because I like the closing he just made, I think Liberia has a rich history for which it can qualify for the council seat. It's the oldest republic on the African continent. We could be dogged by poverty, but if we get the right leaders, we can fight effectively against poverty. I mean, it's not impossible. Niwari did it in Tanzania. Magufuli also helped in Tanzania to do something.
But they had the leadership. They had the leadership.
Mr. Garguah, you are close. Mr. Garguah, you are close.
But the mail had to come back. That's a whole different conversation.
Anthony, 1 minute. Do your closing. I thought you closed before, but do a second closing so we can go.
Yeah, because Antonio Jackson, all those countries show leadership.
Oh, come on.
Tomalin still have me on the phone, so I thought I was going to close. But I mean, as a gentleman, I think you guys are having a wonderful show. I am very pleased with the rich quality of the discussion, of the dialogue, of the discourse. I enjoy it. You know, on the permanency thing, while it is true that I am a vocal critic of the government, I remain very patriotic and nationalistic. I support Liberia aspiration for the non-permanent seat on the council. I think Liberia, as the first republic on the African continent, deserves a respectable place at that table. And so I align myself with the vision to get a permanent seat on the council. The thing I would say, currently with the Bouakar's administration, look, the incompetence of some of the officials of the Bouakar government. When you see it, you get worried about whether they would make any meaningful progress. Imagine the Minister of Labor announced, I understand on spoon that Liberia unemployment level is at 90%. Notwithstanding this crying shame, and he had done nothing to improve, on the issues of unemployment. He is giving alien work permit as though they were going out of action. 8,000 new work permit to alien. So one job, first the library don't have the job, 90% unemployed. Then the later one that they're supposed to do, you give a permit to all the aliens to be store-bought. What will Liberian do? And this guy is supposed to be the Minister of Labor. You think that guy's supposed to be over there still? You don't think so? Guar said you were going to fight corruption. Even some of the people dismissed by the Selly administration for corruption, Guar brought them back. For case in point is not to Jabba. Today, Guar had to be forced again to suspend the same Nobu Jabba. He said, my man, we're going to prosecute you now. Because of the corruption as the insurance plate, he just suspended the same guy. This was the guy who performed dismally as our managing director for water and sewage, where Piggy and Mo Ali is. Ellen Selly dismissed him. With all prejudice, Guar brought him back in the government. And many of the other people, the guy accused by the legislature to pay back some money, Vabala. He's chairman on Maritime, right? Maritime Board chairman. So, you can be bringing the same people back. Kamara, who is at LTA, he has a corruption issue. Guar brought him back. So, there's no desire for Guar to effectively fight corruption. It's a thing. So I don't see how much progress they will make. Until they're sinking in a deeper hole, and the best they can do is to focus their energy and see whether they can reverse whatever happened to them. Other than just putting, the people who are themselves complicit in the poor governance of the country. Every time I listen to the crash, I call them crash reloaded, right? It's CRSS. That's how I call it. I know my sister, Mariah called it cash reloaded. I call it crash reloaded. These people, they forgetting a fundamental principle of law that say co-defendants are now eligible for jury selection. These people are co-defendants. These were the same people that told all the brother were in good health. You were going to do well for the country. The other guy said he constructed a water faucet for $250,000. Today the water faucet not working, but he go to crash reloader and try to deceive. What crash? People they have no sensitivity.
Roger.
If you are sensitive,
Roger, you come out tomorrow.
Yeah, we gotta go.
hopefully when we have the time, we'll come on. But I'm just saying these small things in passing, right? Because these people are co-defendants. If you say Bwaka, if you DFR Bwaka, and today all the jet that you confer upon him, he underperforming. How can you come and say you will be a witness? You can't be witness. We're going to prosecute two of you together. So you're co-defendant. You can't go on one to talk show and explain something they will listen to. You got to answer how you spend $250,000 to put a workshop kid in the play that will not last for 1 month. A breakdown now.
Okay.
Are you not ashamed of this? You go on crowd, we to deceive our people again.
Thank you, sir.
So, comrades, I want to thank you guys for the show. It's unfortunate that I have to. I bought a home, a 4-bedroom home, and I got to be working day and night to pay my mortgage. But I like the show. Occasionally I follow. But let's keep the conversation about our country going. You keep me going. You won't have the time to come and do it. Let's do it. Nobody say, "Oh, you're sitting in diaspora and you're talking." The diaspora the world is a global village.
The mentor is shot.
Broadcasting to Liberia. So I thank you for having me. Hopefully tomorrow, when time permits, I will come back. They will even pass some of the reports.
What is that? I didn't get him.
Honorable Jackson, thank you very much.
No, but listen, that's unfair to me. If the man come and they haven't been the show person up.
The man didn't say nothing, but he just said.
I didn't call your name. I said, God willing, I will come back on the show. I didn't call your name.
Oh, okay.
Listen, Isaac Jackson, there were many.
I'm going to get fired for fire. He's coming here. I had time to.
Mr. Jackson, you need to be regular on this show.
Yeah, I know too many is keeping the man on the phone that the pastor solidarity. I'm not doing it. That the tribalism they want to bring to bed. Hold on.
Nobody from Lofa can talk of tribalism. You from Lofa, don't try that over here.
Give me, hold on. You see, the same thing we've been saying here, people be saying about, we talk about Article 5, our constitution, the foster unity, they may be bashing at people in Lofa County. But I think it's just been, we've seen it now. We're talking about this tribal sentiments coming to bear right here, right? So, trying for me to come in, Gamer trying to do the show, I was actually on the phone, I'm not paying attention. So, what did he say?
The man said, the people talking about, we got to stay in America to advocate, blah, blah, blah. I said, the man throwing shot. That one you was trying to.
Oh, but Robert, does it not make sense that the Rosa Park name is just his call? Rosa Park was not in Buchanan Grand Bassa County or Compound 5?
Yeah, but
she was never in Compound 5. Rosa Park was right here when she was pushing for change. Marco asked all the things he said, the right of the people within the disagreement, granted.
Yeah,
but how did he espouse that? How did he espouse those things?
Mentioned Iyatola. The Iyatola he launched his campaign from outside the country. So
no, there's not the Iyatola system. How did he espouse those things? It was through a system of movement.
So that's what the man is doing.
It was through a movement. So listen, if we are going to be advocates telephonically, then we're not going to achieve nothing. Nothing going to be achieved. But if we can move in and stand on Capitol Hill and begin to say, hey, the government Bwaka should be dismissed, should come down. The raw way he's saying it, so trust me, I'll be motivated to catch on to the move. People will move through and say, yes, serious thing unfolding here. If people will come from Minneapolis or somewhere there and they are here, people will come from where.
But the man just said he bought a 4-barrel. The man just bought a 4-barrel house. You're trying to pay for that. I mentioned go like brother. If you can't get what you don't have, my brother.
So you try to shout out in there. So man go. So man gotta enjoy the comfort of our 4-barrel, right?
Yeah. The man was like, bro, going out there.
Hey, but
the man living the American dream.
The man see a Gio going to, So I agree, but the man said he going. So Raul, you got information on the man go?
I don't know yet.
But you started that way just now.
Listen, guys. I think Jackson got a point. Fidel Castro was not in the country when he launched his revolution. The Ayatollah was not in the country when he launched his revolution. Hey, guys, thank you very much for coming. Honorable George, can you take us out?
Oh yeah, guys, thanks again, man.
All right. Well, your thing, Isaac Jackson took all my closing time, but tomorrow.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You got 1 minute. Go ahead with your 1 minute. Go ahead.
Good night, guys.
Anthony, you're just showing face now.
Go ahead.
I don't have no closing. I don't have no closing.
Siliki that tomorrow I'll ask them for the opening statement.
Yeah.
I don't have no closing.
Yeah, tomorrow. No,
I
but you
just
know,
want to tell Lagwa. I don't have no closing.
They cannot have no closing because they have no opening.
They have no
Listen,
opening.
I don't
so
want
the
to
opening
open
is
I
unfair.
just Lagwa asking Jazzy now why I
It's unfair. You can't. You open. You can't close. Yeah,
So-
go ahead. Go
So
ahead.
they'll open tomorrow, right?
Eh?
we wish
They
for,
will
No,
open tomorrow.
they can't open tomorrow either.
we're rooting for Liberia to win that seat. Hopefully they will get that seat. We need 129 votes, and when Liberia wins, is one of that seat, it will be a very proud moment for our country. Since 61, we have not held on to that seat, so we're praying for Liberia to get that seat, and it will be a joyous day for Liberia. And also, like you said, Professor Topper is coming on tomorrow, and the woman that come here Monday. She worked for UP. Then she was also putting CDC. She go back again. But anyway, she'll answer the tough question.
She's from Lofa. She related to Kehleboe. Where is
The reason why she was leading, the reason why she was leading to CDC, that she found herself locked in, right? So she got married to the former Internal Affairs Minister under President Guar, Myean Salif. So through that, she got some connection, but I don't think she ever declared open support to CDC. So she did that. God, Osman had some relationship with the then government. That's my understanding. But she be a fearless, a very good partisan supporter for the United Party, and she been one of those critical voices in Lofa as a.
So Vezos, Siafa is undercutting your
gentlemen,
we this is more symbolic than substantial. But anyway, tomorrow
we have to go. Remember, Tomalin George, the Team Awards are playing tonight. He has to go and watch the game.
No, that was last night though.
But with all that's happening, they said I just got a message that the weather have not stopped the clarity of the radio station. They love listening to us, so we should continue another 30 minutes. I didn't know we ain't got time.
I don't think so.
Hey, Raul, we gave out information.
Tomalin George, you got workout on the line.
I mean, good night.
But Mr. Gamer, when you bring in top official from the United Party government to come here.
You post yo, they say again, attack them.
No, I want top people from the ANC. I want the top people from the ANC. I want comments here. Bring comments.
Anything. If it's anybody who is media
you said it in the last time. No.
Tell me
you said you are bringing comments there that time. You said you are
no. Somebody knows why Mr. Comey did not come. The arrangement was made with Tomalin and Ben Sanvee. But Tomalin know why Mr. Comey did not come.
Why didn't he come?
You don't know why.
Tomalin will tell you because
you don't know why.
You tell us. Do you know why?
I know, but Tomalin is the one who made the negotiation. Mr. Comey reached out to you directly.
Come on.
So let's let's just be fair here.
Was it based on what?
Based on what?
What do you think was the reason why he didn't come?
The reason why I talked to Tomalin is so Tomalin talk to him.
Can't communicate. You guys want to be? Just want to stop the point. I want to be secrecy again.
There is no secrecy that I just don't want to give a false information. I want it to come from the House of Law.
There are only three members of CMC left now that Cummings, Nkrumah, and Gay. So there are three.
Why you said? Why you dreaming about the CMC? Why
have you spoken to Cummings since then?
Not me.
Mm-hmm.
This grandson I was on the call was Mr. Cummings.
How is he doing? He's okay.
Doing fantastic.
Okay.
Where is he?
The most fiery Cummings I've seen yet.
When is he having a big political gallery, like a conversation?
We don't need big political gallery.
Listen, when I say big, listen to me. Listen, one minute. When I say big, Anthony, I'm talking about when we have some gallery of the mind. When I mean big, not big now. Maybe discussing with 50 people. 20 persons.
ANC died of death.
Chat around the politics and the
first and foremost, Mr. Gaiman, first of all, let me help you here, Mr.
Yeah, go ahead, Nkrumah, before I close.
Good. So, Mr. Gaiman, you were
CMC is dead, a natural death.
Hold on now, Mr. Gaiman. You were an unapologetic sedition. What changed?
I said CMC died a natural death.
Oh, CMC died natural.
ANC died natural death.
Oh, you said Gaiman was unapologetic citizen?
Yeah, unapologetic citizen. That's how he needs to introduce himself. So who are you right now? You are unapologetic citizen.
So why you trying to say that today? Who is he today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nigga, what a man wrote today?
I'm an unapologetic TMCer.
Yeah, good evening. Actually,
The man of both unapologetic citizen.
Look, one thing
That's
about Mr. Gaiman, let's give it to him, right? I like to give somebody a flower while they say I like. One thing about Mr. Gaiman, when he for something, he doesn't care whatever.
Oh yeah, you can put it. It's good that way. I give
You
it.
know,
That's how
and
it's
so
supposed
I
to be.
respect you for that, right?
That's how it's supposed to
I've
be.
known you for quite some time now, so
What that man doing on the phone there? Who are you talking to? So
so
Mr.
I
we're
respect.
leaving here. We're leaving on the phone and
And
go.
I
Yeah,
admire
what
that,
you say,
Mr.
man?
Gaiman. So we
Siliki,
came
what you
along
say?
with. We started off focused on Liberia, you know, and we came here. So
My
he
man,
and I, we are.
give my man Siliki time. He talking. Yeah, go ahead, Siliki.
Yes, you can go
Hey,
ahead.
man, don't let anybody from Rwanda. You hate people from Rwanda. Go ahead.
no, I don't believe so. But here's the thing.
That place.
Yeah, here's the thing, Mr. Gamer. You know, I've been following the social media today, and something really caught my attention, and I just thought to come on to share light on this. And I believe, you know, what the United Party is trying to do is basically to shut down critical voices.
Of
You know,
course.
and you know the case with Ellen Snow. Those guys just thinking. Let me put things into perspective here. You have a speaker who was very loyal to Joseph Boakai in the United Party, and they just woke up one morning, they said they want to remove Fonanti. And just recently, Phone Africa reported on that Rachel Kuhn confirmed that the removal of Speaker Fonpe was more political than people thought, you know, was an issue-based stuff. Phone Africa did report on that recently. And Ellis not go to the media, make a statement that I want the government to feel whatever it is. Now they're telling this whole thing, and I don't really blame the government. The father, I don't support Ellis Snow. Let's set the record straight. But Ellis Snow should not be giving up people credence. Joseph Boakai is on record of saying that, look, if I don't win the election, there'll be no country called Liberia. So what are the so-called ministers today? What were they saying? Did any of them make a comment towards that? Of course, no. But today they are targeting Ellis Snow, you know, because, and I listened to Ellis Snow today's press conference saying, when people are not happy with my statement, I'm willing to retract. No, Mr. Snow, do not retract any statement. Not Liberian people, like United Party people. The only United Party people and government officials, they've gathered as surrogates to go on social media and make it known that Liberian people against a statement. Not Liberian people, like United Party people. And UP should understand that they just won the election with just few percentage of the vote. They don't have that mandate.
He had a news conference today.
Of course, he did. He had a news conference today at his office. You know, I didn't listen to everything or what he said, but he, you know, it's like he wants to submit. I don't even believe he should be responding to.
You said he retracted his statement?
No, he said if the government is not happy, or the Liberian people, sorry, if the Liberian people are not happy about his statement, he's willing to go into a conversation with the government to settle it so that he can retract his statement. You know, and this is a complete week. If we continue to do this,
did he say that?
He said that, of course. You listen to the go on Punch FM.
Then maybe I went there late because I didn't hear him saying. What I heard him saying was
Punch FM posted a caption of what he was saying today in press conference. They quoted exactly what I'm saying to you. It's on Punch. Maybe I will take a screenshot of it and send it to you.
No, I was following the live and I left, so it might be
basically,
right. I was following
basically, Brother Anthony, what they're trying to do is to scare people. When you come and talk, look, let me say this to you about Jeremy Mepia. That guy was a press secretary in Ellen government. When Ellen left power, that man went to America until Joseph Boakai won before he came back. So he in no position to determine who loved that bro more than his friend. He's not that individual that will come and say, you know, that bro will do. They're just trying to use a scare tactics on people. You know, when you speak, then they come after you. And the fact that Snow, this thing is getting to Ellen Snow, it's even how because the next thing, who next? You know, somebody come and speak, they get after you, and at the end of the day, there'll be no critical voice, you know, to speak against the government. And this is wrong. This is actually wrong. For me, that's what I wanted to stress on. And about this campaign for the permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council. Yes, all of us, regardless of our differences, we will support this. I just completed a video, and hopefully tomorrow I will share that on my own page, in my, own individual way to support this campaign so that we can be able to get a seat. But those guys should not be targeting people, because Joseph Boakai made it clear that, look, if we don't win this election, we will burn down the country. There will be no country called Liberia. So what the so-called hypocrites that are passing around today, targeting Ellen Snow, what they saying about that? Nothing. But today they empower, they want to defend our position. And this is wrong. For me, that's just what I came to say.
Thank you. The conversation that George is having is really serious, because it's going. Gentlemen, I have to go. I'll see you tomorrow. God's willing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Guys, see you, man. Tomorrow.
Thank you.
Who wants to kill Snow? There you go. I'll go check it out. There you go.
And you're right to be afraid, though, because the way the government publishes, like the man undermining the government, that's not cool. It may not be the government, but anybody who speaks that.
Well, Anthony, those guys can't do nothing. They just scared that they put it.
Okay, guys.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Ria TV, True FM.
Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
into True FM 96.1.
What's the meaning of the black barrier?
The black barrier is to tell Joseph Boakai, if you don't organize yourself in a respectful manner, we'll take your data.
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
News, my name is Hansen Delta. Welcome to News and Analysis, 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited.
How is life after the presidency?
But before the presidency, the same life that what you see. I live a different life. When I was not president, this life that what I live, with my family and
I have a lot of interest in the health sector, the educational sector, and the agriculture sector. Both connecting with this country.
Yeah, we are calling international community to come to intervene for us, because, like I just stated previously, we don't know who to trust.
Always make sure to turn on to our
Ria TV and listening to Truth FM 96.1.